In '91, Jack McNeil took his Barcelona Dragons to the first ever World Bowl, but ended up as a loser as the London Monarchs celebrated. In '92, Galen Hall took his Orlando Thunder there and lost. Tonight, one of them must be a winner. So this is it. We're in Barcelona for World Bowl 97, and one of the coaches has to be a winner tonight. Both teams are coming off morale-boosting victories last week. The Rhein Fire winning a tight one against London, whilst Barcelona ran up the biggest score in the team's history when they demolished Scotland.
And the Dragons really needed that win because they were coming off a horrendous run where they lost 4 games in a row after clinching the host role for the World Bowl. And as for Rhein, Galen Hall took them from worst to first. 3-7 last year, 7-3 this year, and they've been the class act in 1997.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, time to meet the men who will shape up World Bowl 97, starting with the Barcelona Dragons.
What can you say about Jon Kitna? He finished the season with 22 touchdowns, one off the league record, and also rushed for record yardage for a quarterback. He's coming off a big game against Scotland in Week 10 when he completed 22 of 36 passes for 345 yards and a league record-tying 5 TDs. Wide receiver Tyree Davis caught 4 passes last week, including a 14-yard touchdown, and returned a punt 79 yards for another score. Shedrick Wilson caught 5 passes last week, including a 16-yard TD for his league-leading 9th of the season. The Rhein Fire have bad memories of Alfonso Browning, who caught this 45-yard TD in the Week 8 matchup between the two teams. So the bottom line is any one of these 3 wideouts could burn you. Oh, and if they don't, there's always Mexican standout Marco Martos. The running game has not been a big feature of the Dragons' offense, but Terry Wilburn has been the main man on the ground. Veteran linebacker Eric Naposki finally gets to see postseason play after injuries stopped him in both 91 and 92. Middle linebacker Juan Long led the league in tackles and racked up 19 in the 2 regular season games against the Fire. Safety Carlos Brooks had his league-leading 6th interception of the season last week, but Rhein beware because cornerbacks Michael Wright and Butler Binodi both had their first interceptions of the season last week. What Jon Kitna is to Barcelona, TJ Rubley is to Rhein. But Rubley has not thrown a touchdown pass since Week 8 against the Dragons. But with his offensive line allowing only 1 sack all season, TJ could have time to burn Barcelona. His go-to guy is wide receiver Bill Schrader. The Green Bay allocated star caught 5 passes for 131 yards last time Rhein were in town, including touchdown receptions of 14 and 73 yards. But when you talk offense with the Fire, you talk rushing. With 1,555 yards on the ground this season, the Fire overtook the league's previous single-season record set by the San Antonio Riders back in 1992. Running back Derek Clark has rushed for 8 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Antoine Carter has a club record 587 yards, and 121 of them came against the Dragons in the Week 8 clash. Former Monarch Dunstan Anderson began the season with 2 sacks against Barcelona, while defensive tackle James Wilson had a sack in each game against the Dragons this year. Safety Matt Gay had his 2nd interception of the season last week, while linebacker Anthony Fieldings led the team with 12 tackles against London. The kicking game is alive and well in Dusseldorf. Manny Bergsmuller ranks 2nd among World League kickers with 44 points, and Norwegian Atle Larsen has been booming them over. Last week he connected with this 44-yard effort.
Hey, this should be a good one. You know, on every sideline there's always experts, and on the sidelines down there the experts are saying that maybe Jack McNeil has talked about coming out, throwing the football a lot, but he's maybe trying to fool people and come out with the running game. Can that work?
I don't really think so, because with these 2 teams, what you see is what you get. And the Dragons are going to come out throwing. They throw the ball when they leave the tunnel, and you know that what they'll do is throw and throw and throw until you put so many guys back that then they can run the ball on you. The big thing that Jon Kitna has done this year, one of the big things he's done, is he sees that situation really well, and he'll audible the run better than any quarterback Barcelona's ever had.
You know, one example, both of these teams struggled against the London Monarchs, blitzing, the gimmick defenses that they tried. What do you see teams doing today to maybe to offset that?
Well, for the Dragons, the key is protecting Kitna. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rhein come at them with linebackers. But Rhein hate to bring their linebackers out of coverage. They have a good front four that can put a lot of pressure on a quarterback, and they'll try to make that front four work. I'm sure Barcelona defensively watched what London did, and they know that if you can stop Rhein early, and if you can get to Rubley early, then you can put them off their game. I think they'll try to do it by bringing their linebackers.
You know, people say that Rhein's offensive line is the best in World League history. You don't think so. What do you think about them?
Well, not really. They're a very good group, but it took them a long time to get going this season. Barcelona's got a good offensive line this year. Scotland's offensive line last year may have been the best in World League's history.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Now it's time to say hello to our commentary team for tonight's match. As usual, we'll be hearing from our own Nick Harlan, and he's joined tonight by ex-Dallas Cowboy Brian Baldinger. Gentlemen, what's the latest news from the two camps?
Yeah, thanks very much indeed, Kevin. I've got Brian Baldinger, the former Dallas Cowboy, with me here at the atmosphere. Just incredible down here on the field. But Brian and I have been looking at all the permutations, and one thing that does stand out is the quarterbacks and the difference in terms of their experience. Here's TJ Rubley, all that NFL experience. Here's Jon Kitna. He's never played in a game like this. I wonder how that's going to affect him.
That's true. Kitna has never played in an NFL game, but he has started 9 games in the World League, and he's no longer a rookie. And he's coming off his best game as a World League quarterback, throwing for 5 touchdown passes last week. And he's going to try to ride the momentum tonight. And he is the magical dragon of this team.
Well, as for the Rhein Fire, no mystery at all of what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to run it and run it and run it. Now, the key for Barcelona is how do they stop that run? Personally, I don't think they can do it. What do you think?
Well, Barcelona is worst in the defense in the World League. They give up a porous 4.7 yards per rush. Tonight, the key is to try and slow Rhein down on first down. They're going to do it with 8-man fronts and force Rhein into 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 7 situations and make Rhein throw the football.
As for Barcelona, of course, Jack Bicknell says we're just going to pass and pass and pass. I think there's no mystery there, although they do have a decent running game if Terry Wilburn gets on track. But as for passing, the key there surely is to protect Jon Kitna.
That is the key tonight. If they protect Jon Kitna and keep him clean, he is good enough and accurate enough that he can pick this Rhein defense apart. And that's going to be the key this evening. And he's the leader of this football team, and he needs to be protected.
Well, it's prediction time now. I'm going to go with the Rhein Fire. I think they're just about going to have the edge here. Brian, I believe you disagree with me on this one.
I like Jon Kitna, and I think there's a lot of magic in this particular Dragon. This is going to be his farewell to the World League where he's been a star. But he's going to have future stardom in the NFL, and I think he goes out the World League a winner this evening.
Brian and I are agreeing to disagree. I say Rhein, he says Barcelona, and I know you two guys back upstairs, you've got some thoughts on that as well. We're going to get into the commentary box. See you later on.
Hey, Nick, I thought he was smart. I know he's a genius. I'm going with Rhein also.
And I'm going with Barcelona. It's a dangerous thing to think you can turn it on when you need it, but they've done it twice this year. They'll do it again.
Okay, more from the dynamic duel a little later on, but when we get back, we'll see how the two sides got to World Bowl 97. Now, the Barcelona Dragons knew they were going to be in World Bowl 97 as far back as Week 5, but it hasn't been easy since then. Barcelona started their season away to the Rhein Fire, and quarterback Jon Kitna didn't take long to establish himself as a star of the future, orchestrating 4 touchdowns in all with little help from 2 wide receivers, Cedric Wilson and Alfonso Browning.
What a catch! Touchdown, Alfonso Browning! What a sensational grab! And spinning away is Kitna, the escape artist, wide open. He'll have his 3rd touchdown of the game. The hat trick. Cedric Wilson all alone after Kitna escaped a hangman's noose.
In Week 2 up in Scotland, Jon Kitna developed a partnership with another wide receiver, Tyree Davis, confirming the Dragons' talented offense.
There's Davis breaking the tackle, and he's gone. It's a touchdown for Barcelona.
Another man to show form early in the season was Kitna's go-to man, tight end Bryce Burnett.
Great play-action fake. Kitna touchdown to his tight end. And the Dragons are looking pretty good at 2-0.
In their first home game against Frankfurt, the Dragons suffered a small setback despite an early touchdown by Davis.
John throwing deep, a receiver wide open, another touchdown for Jon Kitna, Tyree Davis.
And despite the likes of Oliver Burnett, Leroy Glover, and Hugh Hunter giving Steve Pelori constant pressure, kicker Ralph Kleiman kept the Galaxy in contention with 3 field goals.
2.5 minutes to go. Pelori driving them down the field. Halfback option. Vernon Turner throws. It is caught. Touchdown. So Frankfurt with its second win of the year.
In week 4 against the Monarchs, London stormed into a 30-7 lead at halftime with touchdowns by Hobbs, Davis, Brooks, and quarterback Stan White. The best comeback in World League history, however, was just around the corner.
Barcelona at the 10 of London. And once again, Kitna over the middle. It is caught. Touchdown. Kitna throwing the slant. This could go. Going inside the 30, the 20. Marcos inside the 10 of the 5. Touchdown. Play fake by Kitna. He's going to keep it, dives for the goal line. Touchdown, Jon Kitna. That is a tremendous performance by Barcelona.
In week 5 against Amsterdam, the Dragons thrilled the home crowd as they raced to a 21-0 lead in the first half, with Kitna and his wide receivers connecting once again.
Wilson, touchdown. Kitna to throw. No, Kitna to run, and a lot of room he's got. Inside the 15 of the 10. Jon Kitna, touchdown, Barcelona.
A rare mistake by Jon Kitna allowed Mark Lillibridge to score and began a late flourish by the Admirals, but the Dragons managed to hold on.
A bootleg by Fiedler. And the pitch to Moss, and Brent Moss will go in for a touchdown. And the rally dies inside the 20-yard line of Barcelona.
In a close-fought contest in week 6 at the Montjuic Stadium, Monarchs' Dan Silvestri snatched victory from Barcelona in the dying seconds to avenge their earlier defeat.
Silvestri, his aim is true. He has the distance, and London have the lead.
Although Barcelona had done enough earlier in the season to host the World Bowl, this was the first of 4 straight defeats. First, they fell to Amsterdam.
Fiedler, quick count. Over the middle, touchdown! Darren Chandler!
Then to the Rhein Fire.
He throws, and it is caught. Goodbye, Bill Schrader. His second touchdown of the first half.
And finally, to the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Back in May looks in zone bound here, and he has the lead, and it is Shelley Fittingly who earns the touchdown.
But in week 10, the Dragons were back.
As Davis runs into his own blocking, still keeps his footing and is on the move. He's inside the 30, inside the 25, and he's down the sideline, and he's in. Touchdown!
So the Dragons come to the World Bowl at 5-5. You know, being 5-5, they had that 4-game losing streak. What did they learn from that?
I think they learned 2 things. One is a dangerous thing. They think they can turn it on when they have to, and they learned against Scotland they could do that, and they could depend on Jon Kitna to do it. The other thing they learned was that they have to protect Kitna and make him happy, as it were, at the start of the game. If Kitna feels comfortable back there, he'll take your defense to part. If he starts thinking he's got to force things, he'll throw a lot of interceptions. He had 15 this season.
You know, we're here in a game numerous things about Kitna, about his excellent core of receivers. Terry Wilburn, their running back, averaged 42 yards a game. What are they going to need from him today to be successful?
Well, basically, if you're a running back in Barcelona's offense, what you have to do is get away for yardage when they call on you, and preferably break it, because you're only going to be running usually in the best situations for you. And we saw it best against London in Stamford Bridge. Whenever Kitna came out and saw that they had the man advantage blocking, he called Terry Wilburn's number, and Terry Wilburn had 3-4 good long gains.
Okay, so whilst Barcelona had the pleasure of knowing they were in this match from mid-May, the Rhein Fire have had to sweat it out till the end of the regular season.
Let there be fire!
As you know, the Fire were slow to burn in week 1. They started the season as they finish it, playing the Dragons, although they were not up to the task. Week 2 and a third straight losing season already seemed probable, but London were feeling charitable after a scoreless first half.
Rubley looks, finds Schrader. What a moment for his first catch. It's for 6.
Quarterback TJ Rubley threw 3 touchdowns when he sparked the Fire against London, and Scotland received the similar treatment as Rhein ignited their ground game to wear down the defending champs.
Rubley on the short drop left and fires, and he's got the first down to the 10, and Schrader hurdles into the end zone.
Galen Hall's men were becoming favorites to beat the Admirals in what turned out to be a real thriller. The lead had already changed twice before Amsterdam got the wind in their sails, and this block punt made it 23-13. It was left to TJ Rubley to redress the deficit.
Second down from the 41 of Amsterdam. Rubley wants it all and airs it out. And it's up for grabs. Caught! Touchdown! Schrader! Schrader! The decathlete takes it away. Touchdown! TJ Rubley to Bill Schrader, who took it away, wrestled it away from everybody. Oh my, with 32 seconds remaining in the football game, still time for a miracle.
But the onside kick didn't work in this heartbreaking loss. Week 5 and a record 32,000 fans packed the Rhein Stadion. However, the German teams battled to a standstill, and it was left up to soccer hero Manny Bergsmuller to settle it.
He can be a hero in Dusseldorf tonight. And he is. The Rhein Fire take the lead with 8 seconds left.
The return visit the following week was the best game of the season.
May on a play fake, looking for Bailey, it's caught. Touchdown! Rubley will put it in the air, going long. Catch is made and a touchdown! Rubley will put it in the air to the end zone, caught, touchdown!
Who is it? Movasagi.
10th play of the drive. They are inside the 30. There's the reverse.
He's going to throw it.
Shelley, downfield, caught, touchdown, Mario Bailey.
But when Rubley got hurt on this hit, it seemed like the game was lost. Rhein were already trailing, but super sub Josh LaRocca picked up where TJ had left off.
20-14. The Frankfurt Galaxy on top, but the Rhein Fire on the move. LaRocca to throw to the end zone. Touchdown!
Scotland's visit was another thriller, but Scott Cooper did the damage with under a minute left, and the Claymores left the Fire dangling.
20-16. Barr looking to the end zone, fires, caught, touchdown! Scott Cooper!
Although Rhein continued to top the table they'd led since week 6, Scotland now had an identical record to the men from Dusseldorf. Week 8 was no different since both rivals won again, the Fire burning the Dragons in an 8-touchdown shootout.
The first time these two teams met, these guys were unable to score a touchdown. That has now changed. It is Derek Clark that powers in behind that offensive line.
I want to hear you shout. You better scream out loud. There's no way.
It got wet and wild in Week 9. The Admirals in the monsoon conditions failed to douse red-hot Rhein as they opened a lead against Scotland, who surprisingly lost to the Monarchs.
Fiedler to the near side, and is picked off. Into the end zone, Lee Cole.
Rhein registered the only shutout of the '97 season. London were the next victims in a low-scoring finale, but Derek Clark's 9th touchdown tied a league record.
And this a big one. They give to Clark again, who just bulldozes his way in. Touchdown, Rhein Fire.
I want to hear you scream.
The Rhein Fire, excellent football team. Can Barcelona stop, control their running game?
What I think they're going to wind up doing, Barcelona's going to come out and bring 8 men up. The linebackers will be playing up. Rhein will spread the offense. They'll try to just spread Barcelona out and then run the ball. Now what this means is Barcelona's going to be in a lot of man-to-man pass coverage with the corners, and Carlos Brooks, who's moved from free safety to strong safety, he's going to be coming up too to stop the run. Watch out for the tight end, A.J. Ofadile, coming across the middle because he's going to have probably the free safety or a linebacker on him. He could be open.
So are we looking for a big day from the Rhein's wide receivers?
I think so, because I think that Barcelona is going to concentrate so hard on stopping the run that they're going to have to go to the passing game. And the Dragons have been saying, you know, the coaches all week, if they're going to get beat, they're going to make T.J. Rubley beat them.
Okay, let's hope nothing goes wrong today. It's time to meet the teams that will be part of World Bowl 97. So it's hello once again to Brian Baldinger, but first, Nick Hawley. Hello, Nick.
Hi, Kevin. I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are up here. Fantastic atmosphere. The sun is shining here in Barcelona, and it really has been building and building and building. And here come the Rhein Fire. Pretty good presence from the fans here, Brian.
Oh, there's a lot of electricity in the air this evening, as you would expect in a championship football game.
There's Galen Hall from worst to first. And we're going to meet the defense with the former London Monarch, Dunstan Anderson. 5 sacks on the year, but they all came in the first 3 games. He's overdue.
And he had 2 big ones in week 1 against Darren Thorpe.
Against James Wilson. Doesn't have great numbers, but very solid.
Incredible Tyrone Williams.
From the St. Louis Rams.
And I like Tyrone Williams. He was a factor with the Rams last year. He was just a rookie free agent with them, but he did contribute.
And Israel Stanley, he's had a pretty solid season as well. Here's the linebacking crew. Mark Brook fit again and taking his place in the starting lineup. They needed him to be healthy. This guy's got over 220 tackles in 3 years with the Fire.
Yeah, and he was the World League's defensive MVP last week with 12 tackles.
Linebacker Aubrey Beavers.
Drafted by the Dolphins in '94, spent '96 with the Jets.
The highest drafted player in World League history, a second-round pick of the Dolphins.
Houston's been on a couple of practice squads, Dallas and Buffalo.
The cornerback, number 22, Lee Cole.
Now, 1 or 2 people around the league reckon Lee Cole could get picked on tonight.
He's going to have his hands full out there with Shedrick Wilson, and there's a big mismatch with height at those positions.
Chris Schelling has also recovered from injury. Good run stopper, this guy.
Yeah, he leads. He's second in the team in tackles next to Fieldings.
And Matt Gay, well, regular Rhein Fire watchers know all about him. And here's the national starter, Peter Grosspass, making his final game. Tonight he's retiring after today's game. A 3-year man for the Rhein Fire.
He's an electrician in the off-season. His boss wants him back at work.
Vladi playing against the team he was with last year. Takahiro Ikanue works as hard as anybody on this team, and they really respect that, the Fire. Babak Movasaki is the offensive starter, the Iranian. Big Olaf, one of the 5-year men, along with Victor Mohammed of London.
Martin Drever.
Martin Drever, more World Bowls than World League catches for Martin. This is his 3rd in a row. And there's Manfred Bergsmuller, 47, the oldest player on the field. It could come down to him. And there's Galen Hall, who's brought this team from the basement to the World Bowl.
And he's won a national championship in college at the University of Florida. In 1984, he was the NCAA Coach of the Year that year.
Meanwhile, the fans getting to their feet in anticipation of the arrival of the Barcelona Dragons.
1, 2, 3.
The Fire, they're ready. And the Dragons, you can be certain they're ready as well. They bounced back from that 4-game losing slump, and the roof will be raised here.
And their goal coming out of training camp was to host the World Bowl game, get off to a fast start, and that they did.
And here they come. And that's quite an introduction, and here comes the starting offense. Tyree Davis, so dangerous whenever he's on the field.
And his brother was a member of the Orlando team that Galen coached in 1992.
Everett Lindsay from the Vikings. This guy looks to have an NFL career ahead of him if he stays healthy. Tom Robsock we see going through there, voted to the All-World League team.
The only member of that offensive line that did.
From the Pittsburgh Steelers, pretty solid there in the middle.
All 315 pounds of Emerson Martin.
Chris Banks from the Broncos, a split time with Robert Couch at right guard.
He was a 7th-round pick last year at Denver, and they allocated him over here this year.
And here's the man mountain that the New York Giants like the look of, Darren Thorpe, 6'8", 340.
Very improved player.
Sorry, Brian. Bryce Burnett just coming in there.
The All-World League tight end.
And I think we're going to get a pretty big cheer for this fella, Shedrick Wilson. 9 touchdowns on the year. Whoa!
He's been saving that acrobatic for the biggest game of the year.
And here comes Alfonso Brown. He gets overlooked when they talk about Davis and Wilson, but he's a huge contributor.
And he has a Super Bowl ring with the San Francisco 49ers. He said this is bigger because he's a contributor.
Now here comes the biggest cheer. A guy that gets overlooked. He's chalked up over 400 yards on the ground this season, Terry Wilman, the former Viking. And here are the national players for Barcelona. What a moment for these guys. There's Luca Bellora, the big Italian.
And not only are these guys contributing to their teams, but they're big inspirations to their native countries.
Gregoire Marlowe, born in France, of Spanish parents. Samuel Alampi from Finland has a touchdown catch to his name last year. Marco Martos, well, London and Scotland fans know all about him. Maurizio Barbotti just getting introduced. Well, there's TJ Rubley as we just go through the end of the player introductions. And TJ Rubley getting ready. The Dragons are ready. We're just about ready, but we're going to clear our throats first, Brian, catch our breath, have a drink of water. So while we do that, we're going to hand it back to the guys in the studio, Mike and Kevin. Fellas.
Hey, thanks a lot. So that's it. The talking's done. The formalities are over. Join us for the whole of the World Bowl 97, live from Barcelona after this. Welcome back. Now, we wouldn't want you to think that all we ever do is criticize. After all, sometimes it doesn't quite go right for us as well, you know?
Hello, sir. What's your name? Kevin K. Kevin K. How you doing? Ben Williams. He has big Benz, used military lot. Kevin, you out here today to go buy some of these nice tanks we have. Let me show you one. How much? I gotta tell you, $1.5 million US. $1,499,000. Gotta do a credit check on it. We'll try it out.
London, here we come, brother. At you.
Lift up and daddy.
I've come to a city renowned the world over for its quaint architecture and artistic roots. Hey, who needs...
We thought we'd try him out at some other games. We took him over to the Pepsi Trocadero so he can get down with the show and see what's going on over there with the...
His burning ambition is to represent the U.S. as a decathlete. I'm so girly.
Drop kicking is still legal in American football. Because it's too hard. All I need's 2 pins, and I've beaten him in the 3rd. You're too good.
The kickoff is just moments away. And Mike, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I think really in this game what you've got is a mashup of the 2 best teams in the league. That's great. You've got a great offense on each side, the best running game and the best passing game. Key things to watch early on, Dunstan Anderson and Jerron Thorpe, end against tackle. Tom Robsock against Tyrone Williams, guard against tackle. Those are the keys. If Rhein can come in and put pressure on Kitna, then Rhein's going to do really well. On the other side, if Rhein can run the ball, like Brian Baldinger said, especially on first down, but if they can come out running against Barcelona, it's going to be their game as well.
Let's look at it on the defensive side. Who do you see as a key on both teams that maybe has to stand up today?
Well, I think for Barcelona, it's Carlos Brooks more than anybody else because he has to come up and help stop the run, and he has to play tough against the tight ends. The 2 cornerbacks also have to do good coverage on the wide receivers. For Rhein, it's the front 4. They've got to get some pass rush out of some of these guys. Dunstan Anderson hasn't had a sack since week 3. He needs to deliver this week.
Look at the 2 quarterbacks. Which one of them has the best throwing arm?
Jon Kitna has the better arm, definitely. He's got a strong arm when he's got time. He's also got tremendous touch. He puts the ball out for a receiver better than anyone in the league to throw in and get those guys underneath. But Rubley's got the experience, he's a leader, and he won't make too many bad plays. He's great at throwing the ball away when he's under pressure. That's why they only gave up 1 sack all season.
Okay. He has Barcelona of Rhein, so it's time to join Brian Baldinger and Nick Harling for commentary on World Bowl 97. Gentlemen, it's all yours.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much indeed, Kevin. We're pumped up. I know these players are pumped up. There's Dunstan Anderson. He's ready too. Brian, I think one thing we're all agreed on, potentially there could be a bucket load of points scored in this game.
These are the 2 highest scoring teams in the World League, Nick. They've demonstrated that this year, and we're going to see an aerial circus by Barcelona and a team in Rhein that doesn't make a lot of mistakes and very capable of marching down the field methodically and scoring points.
Well, Barcelona, of course, got here on the strength of the best record after 5 games. The Rhein Fire, they lost their first game, then won 7 of the next 9, and fittingly the top 2 teams are here, although only just. Barcelona gave us a couple of scary moments there for a minute. Galen Hall, well, really after he'd recovered from that early setback, and TJ Rubley called the players together and straightened everything out. They've looked the form team in the World League.
That really was the turnaround, that opening loss to Barcelona. TJ Rubley pulled the team together and said, guys, we want to win the World Bowl.
And that's certainly been on Jack Bicknell's mind. He led the team to the 91 World Bowl, lost against the London Monarchs before a crowd of 60,000. Maybe that's going to change tonight for Jack Bicknell. Both of these coaches, of course, they've been in a World Bowl. Jack in 91, Galen in 92. Both of them lost. It's been a beautiful day, as you can see, 81 degrees. Brian's been working his suntan. Looks pretty good, Brian.
I haven't been out on the beach as much as you have, though, Nick. I've been in my room working, okay?
And it's down to work now. Jeff Beckley with the kick. It's a horrible way to start the World Bowl, and it goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And that's a dreadful start for the Barcelona Dragons. The flags come in, and a penalty flag is thrown, and the Rhein Fire will get pretty decent field position out of that.
And in big games, Nick, field position is always a big part of the game.
First down.
So it's a first down for the Rhein Fire, and the guy who was voted the most valuable player in the World League on offense, TJ Rubley. Guy with plenty of NFL experience, And you just wonder, Brian, if this is a guy that's going to be playing in the NFL again this autumn.
Well, that's the ultimate goal, is to get back to the NFL, to jumpstart his career, where he was a one-time starter for the Rams. And he has used all of his ability this year and concentrated in an offense that suits him fine.
Well, the Fire start off at the 40-yard line. All kinds of movement at the line of scrimmage, nerves jangling. Certainly 2 or 3 Barcelona defensive linemen were jumping around there, including Oliver Barnett there. But we'll have to wait and see if they were drawn. Phil Luckett is our referee today.
Prior to the snap, coach, defense number 99.
Well, they call Leroy Glover from the Oakland Raiders, so you can march another 5 yards off, and without a down being played, the Rhein Fire are at their own 45-yard line, 1st and 5. The backs and receivers, they'll feature Anton Carter in the backfield, Schrader, Foster and Dritline the wideouts. Foster shares time with Babak Movasagi. AJ Ofodele is the tight end, and on 1st down, they're looking to pass, and they've got Bill Schrader wide open, but he can't quite get it. But he got behind the coverage of Butler Benote. They went for it all on 1st down, and they weren't far away.
1st and 5 is a great situation. Rhein came out in a double tight end offense, something we haven't seen them do very much.
The offensive line just allowed 1 sack, and they've opened up holes for the best running game in the league.
4 allocated players, all going to NFL camps in about 3 weeks, and John Jones, the only member of that starting 5 that wasn't voted to the All-World League team. So this group has been recognized for the achievements they've accomplished this year.
2nd down and 5. This time they play fake again, and Rubley rolls and gets under some pressure, and he's got a Bill Schrader who's wide open again. Will pick up about 6 yards. Got clobbered by Michael Wright, but that's good enough to move the chains. 1st down, Fire. Now that'll ease any nerves they may have. And they're into Barcelona territory, to the 49-yard line. 1st down, TJ Rubley just completed his 1st pass. Dritline is wide to the left. Seen too much of him this season. Again, all kinds of movement on Barcelona's defensive front. Jon Kitna waiting anxiously for his chance.
Chewing on those fingernails. Every quarterback is always nervous until they can make that first completion like Rubley just did.
Snap, encroachment on the defense, number 99.
That's Leroy Glover again.
Still 1st down.
Well, that right there is Oliver Barnett on the right side. Here comes Glover. He also jumps offside, and that's due to the hard count of TJ Rubley, and that's the experience factor that Rubley has, trying to get an easy 5 yards.
Well, they went downtown on 1st and 5 last time. They've got 3 wide receivers lined up to the right. This time they go on the ground to Antoine Carter, who looks like he's going to be very close to 1st down yardage. Juan Long in on the stop. Defensive front features Hunter Barnett, Leroy Glover, who will have impressed the Oakland Raiders, and Steve Brannon, who's come through after joining the team in week 4.
And Glover is the only player on the field today on either team that has been voted to the All-World League team. He's a real stud in the middle, and the Raiders are really happy with the progress that he's made over here.
It is indeed a 1st down. Following the 5-yard run from Antoine Carter, David Rhodes, the motion man. Rubley finds Rhodes, who is pushed out of bounds after a pickup of 7 or 8 yards. Carlos Brooks coming up from safety for this. A very composed start from the Rhein Fire, with a bit of help, it has to be said, from the Dragons. The linebacking core featuring Juan Long at the middle, Eric Naposki and Willie Smith, the wideouts. Good to see Naposki playing. He missed World Bowl 91 through injury.
Yeah, and he also has had other opportunities. He's always been injured. That man in the middle, though, over 100 tackles, led the World League in tackles this year.
2nd down and short. Down they go. Antoine Carter with a big hole and still on his feet inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Butler Benote, Steve Brannon there. 14 yards and a 1st down for the Fire.
And Anton Carter is a guy that has a lot of change of pace. He really softens up a defense. You'll see him coming to the right side. That's Ethan Brook that's being circled, a former defensive lineman, a guy that's really benefited by this World League experience this year. And that's Steve Brannon being blocked by John Jones up front and taken for a ride. He could have charged some cab fare for that ride.
1st down to the 18. And Rubley calls a timeout.
Timeout, Rhein Fire, 1st charge timeout.
And a chance for us
30-second timeout.
just to catch our breath a little bit and take stock of what we've seen so far, and it's been pretty impressive from the Rhein Fire offensive perspective?
They've been very patient. We've talked about them being methodical, but they took the first play and tried to go deep. And in this case right now, the timeout was called by Rubli because Barcelona jumped into that 8-man front that we expected from them on first down. So Rubli wants to make sure that he's got the right audible, the right check to go to, make sure they put the best possible play out there to defeat that 8-man front.
You saw Rubli there talking to Galen Hall, one of many players who are allocated from the NFL, Rubli, and one of many players hoping to get back there. The demarcation line between the World League and the NFL getting harder to find all the time as more and more of these guys progress. And there's Wes Chandler, who was one of the greats as a wide receiver in the NFL, and what a job he's done with this receiving corps. On first down on the ground, Antoine Carter is met and flattened. Leroy Glover stamping his authority on the situation. Hugh Hunter was in there too. That's going to bring up second and long. The defensive secondary featuring Michael Wright, Roderick Green, Carlos Brooks, who's impressed, and Butler Benote. And Gregoire Marlowe, the Frenchman, comes in on national series at free safety.
And I spoke with Benote before the game. He really wants Billy Schrader one-on-one in this game. He thinks he can shut him down.
Loss of a yard. Rhodes goes in motion. Antoine Carter again tries to power his way through traffic. And we'll pick up about 4 yards before Eric Naposki makes the stop at about the 14-yard line. And that's going to bring up third down on a long 5. But the thing the Fire can do, they're pounding away with Carter at the moment. They can bring in Derek Clark or Ricky Powers. They just keep them all fresh.
But this is what Barcelona wanted. They wanted to be able to put Rhein into 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 situations and make Rubli throw the football.
4 wide receivers out for the Rhein Fire, and Rubli is forced to roll and roll and roll. Now he gets rid of it and puts it up in the air, and Michael Dritline can't get it. And so 4th down is going to be coming up, and Jon Kitna should be getting his chance fairly soon. The Rhein Fire sending up Manfred Bergsmuller. Remember, it has to be the national kicker if the ball is inside the 15-yard line. So this is going to be a long one for Bergsmuller, 32 yards. He's made 7 of 9 this year, all of them pretty short, but he's looked nervous once or twice. Good snap, good hold, certainly good enough. And the Rhein Fire are on the board. Manfred Bergsmuller with a 32-yard field goal to cap an impressive opening drive for Galen Hall's team. It's the Rhein Fire drawing first blood in World Bowl 97.
And welcome back. Great ball movement by Rhein, but how do you see the scoreline in this game?
Well, they were lucky on that first play. Barcelona was, because Rhein had a touchdown if that pass is complete. And you see what Barcelona's going to do. They're going to try to get Rhein into those 3rd down situations and then bring linebackers on the blitz and try to pressure Rubli into throwing incompletions. So I think Barcelona was lucky to get out of that whole series just giving up 3 points.
Okay, let's get back over to the stadium.
And Atle Larsen will get things moving once again. The Norwegian, who's allocated here from the Cardinals. The deep men are Butler Benote and Alfonso Browning. Benote very dangerous. And it's not a very good kick from Larsen either. Takes a hop and is fielded by Benote. He's trying to scamper around and just gets to about the 20-yard line. Rhein Fire's kick return coverage, the best in the World League this year. And that's where Jon Kitna is going to take over from. What a season this guy has had, Brian.
Yeah, big numbers this year, 22 touchdown passes, 5 of them coming last week in a game that they had to win, Nick. They had gone on a 4-game losing streak. They had to stop the bleeding, and this man is capable of putting this team up on his shoulders and elevating everybody's play.
Well, Jon Kitna manages to exude this feeling that one play and it could be a touchdown at any time. From his own 20-yard line, Kitna pump fakes, dumps it off, finds Terry Wilburn, who is run out of bounds by Aubrey Beavers after a pickup of about 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 7 after we have the call on the flag.
Kitna took a shot from Dunstan Anderson on that first pass, and Kitna's taken a lot of hits this year.
Well, Phil Luckett will explain what's going on. Let's see if we can see it.
This is just Kitna right here trying to look off Wilburn right there, and it's just a rhythm pass. Trying to build a little confidence early.
Oh, and a face mask.
On the defense,
for Jon Kitna.
5 yards only. The result is first down and about 2, first and 2.
Rhein was the least penalized team in the league this year.
Well, that's one there. Wilburn, Davis, Wilson, Browning, and Burnett. And Marco Matos, the Mexican. They can all do damage for the Dragons.
This is 4 of the top 7 receivers in the league. Kitna really spreads the ball around.
Just a 5-yard face mask penalty for Aubrey Beavers. That brings up first and short, and all kinds of encroachment going on there. But Wilburn stayed on his feet until he's tripped up by Israel Stanley. That'll be a first down, but we'll have to check on the flags again. And it looked like the defensive line again pretty keen to get over the line of scrimmage. We saw that with Barcelona on that first drive the Rhein Fire had.
And that's Jack McNell right there telling him we'll take the penalty, we'll take the 5, give us the automatic first down, and move the chains for the first time today.
Well, nerves here, Brian. Barcelona start off with 2 penalties. Now Rhein Fire have started off with 2 penalties as well.
You know, you're waiting all day long here, Nick. It's 7 o'clock in Barcelona, and you've had all day to sit around. A lot of nerves, a lot of jitters right now, and guys are sort of getting that stuff, the butterflies, out of their system right now.
You can't afford to give up easy yards against the Barcelona Dragons, who go to the spread formation of 4 wide receivers on first down. Kitna looks, has a man, it's Marco Matos, who squirts free and is very fast. Anthony Fieldings made sure he didn't slip away, but a pickup of 11 yards and a first down, and flags come in late again. There's some pushing and shoving at the halfway line.
These teams split during the season. They don't particularly like one another, and you will see tempers flare. You don't want to take away a first down by Matos, though, right there.
Well, Matos has drawn some flags for taunting. Let's see what Phil Luckett has to say about this one.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the defense. Number 53.
And Aubrey Beavers gives up 15 yards.
First down.
Yeah, you're going to see Beavers right there in the middle. That's the shot that he just gave. And that's really uncalled for. The referees were right on top of that. Handkerchiefs all over the field right there. And Barcelona will take the free 15 yards. And Kitna comes out early and completes his first 2 passes, looking very sharp.
Well, Marcos will taunt people, but you can't react like that. And the ball's gone to the Rhein Fire 41-yard line. And Kitna, with time, has a man who's open in the flats. Terry Wilburn looking to turn the corner, gets a block from Matos, and is just pushed out by Chris Schelling at the 13-yard line. Marcos is slow to get up, but that a very big block from the Mexican, and it almost went.
Now you're going to see Jon Kitna right here. He's just looking for Wilburn to come out of the backfield. A little swing pass. It's one-on-one coverage, and Beavers slips right there in the field, and that's a good matchup. Wilburn and Beavers, and Wilburn at running back's got to believe he can win that battle. And Wilburn is a guy I think they should have thrown the football to a lot more this season.
They've given it to Wilburn again, who's got a big hole ahead of him, and he's in! Touchdown, Barcelona! What a response from the Dragons.
Well, that got the fans up on their feet early here in Barcelona.
And Galen Hall knows he's in for a game now.
We talked about the most explosive offense in the league, and they can do it on the ground as well as in the air. This man, over 400 yards rushing this year, setting a Barcelona team record.
Jesus Angoy, the former Barcelona soccer goalkeeper, will attempt the extra point. He was 26 of 28 on the year, and that's 1 of 1 in the postseason. And the Barcelona Dragons, with 8:26 left, have a 7-3 lead. Terry Wilburn lighting up the Olympic Stadium here in Barcelona. Back to you guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nick. Both these teams explosive on the offense. Now, in the World League All-Star team, the All-World team, they had 9 guys out of this game that made the offense. Only 1 guy was on defense, Leroy Glover, and they're basically showing us why.
That's certainly why. Well, Barcelona, you asked me before the game, would they come out and do anything different? And I said I didn't think so. But one thing they are doing different is throwing the ball to Terry Wilburn. He and Michael Hicks had 8 catches each during the season, the 2 running backs. And you see why Rhein is going back in the coverage with the 4 wideouts, and Wilburn's there Dick Curl wanted to get Jon Kitna's confidence up early, so they're giving him the early runs, and then that opened things up for Wilburn to score on the draw, the touchdown run. And look at this, they're coming in, look at those ends, they're out wide. He gets a great block from Everett Lindsay, who should have been in the all-world team at tackle, and Wilburn's in standing up. And another thing Barcelona's receivers do is block really well downfield.
Now you look at these two teams, how are they, or what are they going to do to try to stop somebody? Both offenses are doing what they want to do.
Yeah, and I think for Rhein, they're going to have to start bringing linebackers and trying to mess up Kitna's rhythm. For Barcelona, it's the same old story. Can they stop the run early when Rhein are doing it? Galen then, I think, will try to screw them up by throwing the ball early because everyone expects Rhein to come out and run.
Will either one of these teams try to establish a running game, a powerful running game?
Well, what a power game is Rhein's game. What Jack will do at Barcelona is if you come out and he sees you lying back against the pass, then he'll run the ball until you come up. And as soon as you come up, then the ball starts going out to those wideouts again.
Okay, let's get back to our commentators.
Thanks very much indeed, Kevin and Mike.
Yeah, you're going to see Tom Robsock and Everett Lindsay, Bryce Burnett on the left-hand side. And Robsock is the All-World League player, and Jack McNell really likes Everett Lindsay. He thinks that he's the best offensive lineman in the league, and Wilburn does a good job right here of running this draw. They're going to run the draw to the strong side only today, to Bryce Burnett's side, and that's Chris Shelley coming in. He cannot leave his feet. He has to make that tackle in the open field.
So Barcelona respond in style. Jeff Beckley kicks it away, a better kick than his last one, to Thomas Bailey, who's averaging over 20 yards a return this season. And they do a bit of razzle-dazzle, but Schrader gets a block and turns the corner, but just to the 21-yard line. So nothing special on the return, but another flag comes down. And I'm sure all these flags are just big game nerves, Brian.
Well, Barcelona was penalized a lot this year. They were the second most penalized team in the league. London was the first, and we saw a lot of penalties all year, Nick, on special team plays.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the receiving team, number 84, half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, that's Bill Schrader, and that's another dumb flag.
These guys have to control their emotions here in this type of a game. Backing Rhein up to the 10-yard line. You'll see Schrader right here. Coming down, he took a bad fall, and he threw the ball right there at Vincent Landrum, and that was the penalty, Nick.
And you can't argue with it, and it's another one. Like we saw Aubrey Beavers earlier, shoving Marco Martos down. That's two dumb penalties from the Rhein Fire. Ricky Powers checks into the backfield for the Fire. They'll rotate those backs to keep them fresh. Three wide receivers out, and they go on the ground to Powers, who meets a brick wall and won't gain much at all. Dragons saw that all the way. Steve Brannon, probably the first guy there.
A lot of green jerseys. When we talked about the game plan of Barcelona, try to control and contain Rhein, especially on first down, and force him into these situations. Right now, 2nd and 9. This is what they want to play with.
Second down. Go the two wide receivers out wide and go with Ricky Powers on the ground, and Powers is in trouble, and he's going to lose about 4 yards there. Eric Naposki started it. Hugh Hunter finished the job for Barcelona, and that's going to be a big third down coming up for the Rhein Fire. There's the veteran Eric Naposki. Didn't play in the 91 World Bowl because of injury. And I was talking to him this week, and he said, yeah, this one's long overdue.
And this is his final show in the World League. He says he's going to retire after this year.
Third down and 13 from the shotgun. They go on the ground to Ricky Powers again, who is stood up and then tackled, and a disastrous offensive series. Leroy Glover started it. Steve Brannon finished the job. Great defense from the Dragons.
And Nick, talking with the offensive lineman of Barcelona yesterday, they said that Leroy Glover, right here in your picture, has got the ability to control a game all by himself. And that penetration upfield right there forced Power to change directions in the backfield, and they got the penetration they needed.
And Tyree Davis waits, and it's a shocking kick. It sails out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. So the Barcelona Dragons will have pretty good field position. Kyle Richardson has punted much better than that. So the Dragons, after that sloppy start, definitely have the momentum in their favor. They've just scored a touchdown drive. They've just stopped the Rhein Fire 3 and out. And now they're going to have the ball in pretty good field position. Cause for concern on that sideline. We're going to take the timeout. We're back in a minute.
Hey, this is turning out to be a very exciting football game.
This time Galen played into their hands and they stopped the first down run, and then you saw what happened. They keyed on the run, second down, and then the draw didn't fool them for a minute. And you got to think that Ryan's got to come out and throw the ball just to keep Barcelona's defense honest, and then you really expect more of Kyle Richardson than a bad punt in that situation.
Okay, let's get back to our commentary team up in the booth.
Understatement from Mike Carlson that you've got to expect better from the punter. That was an atrocious kick from Kyle Richardson. The Dragons with the ball at the Fire 31-yard line. And Kitna will look to pass, and he's got him. And no, it's picked. Oh, it's almost picked off. He was looking for Tyree Davis. He couldn't quite get him, and that was almost a pick to Matt Gay. And Jon Kitna furious with himself or one of his receivers.
Furious with his offensive line, I think, Nick. I think he's yelling at him going, if you give me time, guys, I can make that pass and complete it.
Because all four of these guys nearly got hold of him. Stanley Williams, Dunstan Anderson, and Peter Grosspass, the German, playing his last game after 3 years with the Rhein Fire. Second down and 10. Movement at the line once again. Terry Wilburn, the ball carrier. He'll pick up about 3 before being stopped. Anthony Fieldings, the middle linebacker, in the thick of the action. Fieldings, who's had such an outstanding 3-year career for the Rhein Fire. Over 220 tackles, flanked today by Aubrey Beavers and Mark Brook.
This is a very active group and very solid group of guys. They play the pass very, very well, and they don't replace these linebackers on passing downs. They keep them in and let them cover.
3rd down and 7 for the Dragons. And Kitna pressured by James Wilson. And Wilson slows him up, and Dunstan Anderson brings him down. And that was long overdue from Dunstan Anderson. He's not had a sack since week 3.
Only 5 sacks all year, Nick, and they came in the first 3 weeks of the season. But the problem right here is Chris Banks, the right guard, right there. He gets beat early by James Wilson, number 74. And you'll see the penetration by James Wilson on this play. He really forces the play. You'll see 74 beats Banks over the top. And Chris Banks thought he was getting help from Emerson Martin, and he didn't.
Meanwhile, a high snap handled pretty well by Jeff Beckley. Just had to kick it out of bounds, and he did a pretty good job all the way down to the 4-yard line. Jeff Beckley can't do much better than that. That nearly sailed over his head as well as we were looking at the replay. Beckley knows he dug his team out of a hole there.
And, you know, the thing is, it was a high snap by Thomas McGahee, who is the snapper, and he's got a couple of stitches in his right hand, and he said, I'm not 100% snapping the ball, and when you can get the ball off under pressure like that, that'll make you smile. That's a World League kick right there in a championship game, putting it out at the 4-yard line.
Oh, in sharp contrast to Kyle Richardson's attempt. So TJ Rubley starts inside his own 4 with Derek Clark in the backfield now. And he finds David Rhodes, who turns his head at the wrong moment. That should have been a catch. He just did the old thing that all receivers have done down the years, took his eye off the ball.
Yeah, he was looking to run with the football and get those yaks, the yards after the catch. This is one-on-one with Butler Binote. And Binote is just cluing in on TJ Rubley. He's reading the quarterback's eyes and looking to react once the ball is in the air. And you're going to get some disappointment from Rubley right here. This is a pass that should be completed and give him some rhythm.
Rubley really needs to settle this team down. They're looking nervous, but Derek Clark will pound his way for a good 5 or 6 yards before Willie Smith, the linebacker, brings him up. They'll give him 7 on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 3. In fact, he's had a very good spot. It's more like 3rd and 2. But Derek Clark will do that to you. He will wear you down.
He will pound the football. This team twice this year has rushed for over 200 yards. Week 8 against Barcelona, 272 yards. He had over 100 of it himself.
Big 3rd down for the Rhein Fire. They won't want to kick it away from here. And Rubley with a 3-step drop, and it's picked off. Carlos Brooks goes in for a touchdown.
Carlos Brooks with the 7th interception of the year, and none bigger than in the championship game.
Celebration time in Barcelona. I was speaking to Carlos Brooks yesterday, Brian, and he was furious, and I mean genuinely angry that he wasn't named to the World League team, and he said, I'm going to do my talking on the field tomorrow.
There was 2 players that were very angry they didn't make the All-World League team. Juan Long in the middle and Brooks, and you're going to see some confusion on the outside between Schrader. Right there, he got bumped off by the other wide receiver on the play, and Brooks was the culprit and the benefactor.
Jesus Angboy. No problem at all, and Barcelona have jumped out to a 14-3 lead here. 3:55 left first quarter, and one thing I think we can be certain of, Brian, we said there'd be points here. Here's touchdown number 2 of the afternoon so far.
And Carlos Brooks is in this position because he's the nickel back. They bring him an extra back in passing situations, and what you look at from that angle is just where is T.J. Rubley throwing the football. But on the outside, Schrader and Rhodes ran into each other and knocked each other off the route. And it allowed Brooks to drop into coverage and make the easy pick, and that for only the 2nd time this year, Nick. A Barcelona defensive back was able to make an interception, run it back for a touchdown. Roger Green had the other one. Yeah, but this one is in the championship game, and it allows Barcelona to really jump on top of Rhein early in this ball game.
Yeah, you make a good point, Brian. Barcelona ranked dead last against the pass. Galen Hall knows his team is up against it in the early stages here. No cause for panic yet, but I'll tell you something, I wouldn't want to get too far behind the Barcelona Dragons.
And Jack McNell's biggest concern today was if they fell behind, what would they do? Would they panic and start throwing the interceptions? And Jack McNell's got to feel comfortable right now, and a little bit confident that they're able to jump out to this early lead and get some early confidence.
Right now it's the Dragons in the ascendancy. Jeff Beckley, who's good punt to the 4, started all that. Thomas Bailey fields at the 4-yard line, looking to try and get a return, and there's not much doing there. Well, tremendous action here. And the Rhein Fire really in a little bit of trouble. We look back at some of the action that the Rhein Fire and Barcelona Dragons got up to in the regular season. And it's back on the ground once again. Antoine Carter, it's his turn to just pound away, trying to keep those backs fresh. That's going to bring up 2nd down and long for the Rhein Fire, who really are in a little bit of a slump at the moment offensively, as we can see. It all started bright enough, Brian, but since then, nothing.
And it's because Barcelona's been able to dictate the tempo on defense and force Rhein into things they are not comfortable doing.
2nd down and long. Rubley forced the pass, and he looks in the direction of Sean Foster, the former London Monarch, but that an underthrown ball from Rubley.
And there's good protection here. T.J. Rubley is on a 3-step drop, and that ball has to be completed to Sean Foster. It was a horrible throw, and you wonder, and you kind of worry right now, early in this game, about the Rhein offense. They're not in sync at all.
Rubley's numbers against Barcelona, see there, pretty impressive. A couple of interceptions as well. On 3rd and 8, the dime package comes in and the pressure comes, and Rubley is going to run for his life here and has a lot of work to do and just throws it away. Michael Drittline was there, but Rubley had no chance of a completion there. And that's another very disappointing series for T.J. Rubley and the Rhein Fire.
And it's a good combination of very good coverage in the secondary by Barcelona, forcing T.J. to take a lot more time than he would like to have to throw the ball, and good pressure up front by Wolfork and Brannon, and especially the big man in the middle, Leroy Glover.
Well, there's Kyle Richardson's numbers on the season. As I said, he's much better than that first effort would suggest. Tyree Davis, well, he could be deadly. Scottish Claymores fans don't need any reminding of that. 73 yards against them on this field just a week ago. There's a towel on the field Surely the Rhein Fire haven't thrown in the towel just yet. Richardson gets off another horrible wobbling thing that takes a bounce at about the 43-yard line. And once again, the Dragons are going to have a pretty good field position with 2:06 remaining and leading 14-3. And the Fire, well, they came out, they looked very solid and very composed, Brian, but since that opening drive, absolutely nothing.
They took advantage of good field position in the opening drive, and since then, they put themselves in a hole with bad field position, and they have not been able to untrack that running game that has been so powerful this year.
And I tell you, another touchdown here, and Kitna's well capable of engineering one, and this could get ugly.
He's always looking for the big play.
And he's got Davis, Browning, and Shedrick Wilson out wide. He looks over the middle, and he's picked off! And it's the Fire's turn to bounce back with Chris Schelling, who's still on his feet and down inside the 40-yard line, tackled by Shedrick Wilson. But that, huge for the Rhein Fire. Did they need that?
And Bryce Burnett is the All-World League tight end. And this ball went right through his hands. You're going to see Bryce Burnett is right here, the tight end. He's going to be on an over-the-cross-the-middle route. Kitna gets good protection, and the man they call Mano Suave, soft hands, showed no soft hands on this play.
And then it was a question of how far Chris Schelling could go, and just coming back and tracking back was Shedrick Wilson, but Chris Schelling coming up with a huge play defensively for the Rhein Fire. And what can Derek Clark do offensively? Well, he can pick up 4 yards on that carry. Willie Smith eventually on the stop, but Chris Schelling with his first interception of the season. Timely indeed.
They kept him out of action last week. He was pretty banged up, but nothing was going to keep him out of the World Bowl this evening.
Jon Kitna, well, we talked about the 22 passes, the touchdowns that he's thrown. We don't talk so much about the 15 regular season interceptions either. He will make mistakes, but young quarterbacks will do that. Back on the ground, Derek Clark, a great second effort, just running over people. Derek Clark picking up a huge first down, 18 yards. Gregoire Marlowe eventually stopping, and this guy looks so much better than he did even a year ago to me, Brian.
Yeah, he's really matured a lot, and when you look at Derek Clark, the first thing you notice is how physical he is and how big. And he runs like a pro. He doesn't go down easily. He bounces off tacklers very easily. He takes on a lot of shots with that strong lower body. He keeps the legs moving.
Phil Schrader in the slot on first down for the Rhein Fire. Back on the ground they go. Derek Clark will pick up 6 more yards to the 14-yard line. Vincent Landrum is there. Gregoire Marlowe's there. Willie Smith is there too. It took 3 of them to bring him down. Kitna is wondering if that error of his is going to prove costly. Because when Clark gets things moving, as he has done in the second half of the season, he really is tough to stop, and he needs a breather.
When you talk about the second half of the season, Nick, we're talking 8 touchdowns the last 4 weeks. Been the most productive player in the World League during the last 4 weeks.
But Antoine Carter has replaced him in the lineup, and it's Carter who gets the ball to about the 12-yard line. That'll be short of first down yardage, and it'll make it 3rd down and a long one for the Rhein Fire. And that is the end of a very eventful first quarter. We've had 2 touchdowns. We've had a couple of interceptions. We've had a field goal. And we have a 14-3 Barcelona Dragon lead.
Barcelona Dragons doing a very good job. But now we're looking at the Rhein Fire. They're getting the ball to Derek Clark, who's the much more physical of the running backs.
Yeah, and they've been saving Clark most of the season. They like to use him in the second half as the defense gets tired. But you see right now, he's already overpowering Barcelona's defense. He's so big and strong. And we always say, watch out for turnovers. They make a big difference. Well, Barcelona was riding high on their turnover, but then a simple mistake by Bryce Burnett, and Kitna throws the interception, and that's good news for Rhein. They get a nice view of it here. You see Kitna's back loads of time, and it's right off Bryce Burnett's hands. It's like he looked for it a little bit late, right into Chris Schelling's, and you don't expect, again, I keep saying you don't expect that kind of mistake, but Bryce Burnett needs to make those catches. You know, and I'm sure Kitna's going to be saying something to him afterwards. He'll come back out and will.
When you looked at T.J. Rubley after that, the last series, did he seem to maybe have lost a little bit of confidence?
I don't think it's a loss of confidence. What I think is that in that situation, down on the side, he's expecting things to work smoothly. And then something doesn't work smoothly and it confuses him. Right now, Barcelona's guessing really well, keeping him on the back foot. And remember, his receivers have dropped a couple of balls already that they should have caught too.
Speaking of receivers, Schrader really hasn't gotten himself into the game. In the 2 games in the season, he had 12 receptions against Barcelona. What are they going to do to get him into this game?
Well, basically the best way to get him into the game is to keep the running game working, because the more that Barcelona brings those safeties up to stop the run, and the more the corners are thinking run, the more Schrader gets man-on-man coverage, and that's when he's dangerous.
What you looking for him to do here?
In close, they're still going to pump it through, but 3rd and 1 is a good play to play action and let Rubley roll out away from the ball.
Well, high on a hill in Barcelona is one of the main attractions here, Tibidabo. Brian and I have not been up there, I stress, we've been far too busy, but Mike and Kevin have been spotted up there on 1 or 2 occasions. Really is a beautiful city, it just captivates everyone that comes here. And here in the Olympic Stadium that was built in 1929, we've got World Bowl 97, and Derek Clark is back in the game on 3rd and 1 and picks up a comfortable 1st down. And a flag once again on the field. But this is such an important drive for the Rhein Fire. And it looks like another face mask penalty as we just check out the World League key rules. I think most of you know these by now. 50 yards or more for a field goal is worth the extra 4 points. The defense can score as well.
Face mask
on the 35-second
defense,
play clock.
number 56.
And the rule that I like, Nick, is I like that 4 points for a 50-yard field goal. I think that's something that the NFL should take a long look at. It would really alter some strategy during games.
Well, it's won games and lost games. Definitely something I'm sure the NFL and their rules committee are looking at.
They're always looking for a way to spice up the game, make it more interesting and more of a chess match.
Vincent Landrum, the linebacker, was assessed. So it's 1st and goal at the 4. Derek Clark doesn't get much. Hugh Hunter got behind him and made the stop. That's going to bring up 2nd down and goal from about the 3. You'd fancy Derek Clark with 3 downs to get in from 4 yards out.
Now this is Clark's territory. Touchdown Clark. He nicknames himself Showtime, and this is where Showtime really gets off down in this area. And Galen Hall looking on right there. It's really going to be a very simple operation offensively. They really favor the left side of the offensive line at this time and look for him to run behind Sheldon in full out.
2nd down. Play action, and Rubley's got an acre of room in front of him, and he scampers in, and it's touchdown, Rhein Fire. And a smart bootleg from the quarterback, and Rubley's confidence will now be restored.
And the All-World League quarterback has beaten teams in a lot of different ways this year. Everybody talks about his composure and his ability to lead, but he can beat you with his athletic ability as well, as he did on this play right here. This is an excellent call. We talked about how they like to favor the left side, and everybody gets sucked in on Barcelona's right side right there, and it's just a foot race right now.
Well, as the extra point goes through from Manfred Bergsmuller, it was another bad snap, but Bergsmuller is getting better and better the more he does this stuff. And TJ Rubley has got the Rhein Fire right back in it with that 3-yard touchdown run. It's 14-10, the Dragons over the Fire. Back here in Barcelona, the kick underway, fielded by the dangerous Butler Benote, who hands it off to Alfonso Browning, who is stopped at about the 20-yard line. This razzle-dazzle from both these teams on kickoffs, really not fooling anybody. And here's the bootleg from TJ Rubley.
And this fooled Hugh Hunter right over here, and Foley in the middle right there. They got sucked in on this play. Excellent job by the Rhein offensive line of selling the run. And now it's Rubley's athletic ability, and he takes the long distance here to get, he's looking at that pylon right there, and he wins the foot race with the defensive back. And like we said, Rubley is a winner. He's going to find a way to get this offense into the end zone.
See the time of possession there, Rhein Fire dominating, but Kitna doesn't need long to rack up points. He's got Michael Hicks from the Chicago Bears in the backfield, and it's Hicks with his first carry of the World Bowl, and it's to about the 24-yard line, a gain of 3. Peter Grosspass, the German, in on the stop.
And because Barcelona favors the pass so much and they're so good at it, The one run that Barcelona does feel very comfortable with is the draw. That was the 13-yard touchdown that we saw Wilburn, and that was the last run by Michael Hicks right there, taking advantage of a strong pass rush by Rhein.
2nd and 7. Kitna with the 3-step drop has a man, Alfonso Browning, who breaks a couple of tackles and moves forward for first down yardage to the 32-yard line. Peter Grosspass and Aubrey Beavers, and I'm just talking about Peter Grosspass there. That's confirmation of the national player rules. Those guys have got to be on there for every other series, and a lot of World League teams can thank their national players this season. There's another one of them, Big Olaf Hampel.
Always with the power bar. 7 different countries represented by national teams this year.
Michael Hicks trips forward for a couple, and more pushing and shoving. Anthony Fielding's getting on down with Emerson Martin. Marco Matos, you talked about all those different countries. Well, he represents Mexico, and he's a talker on the field. He chatters away.
He's a prideful guy, and he likes to get out there and compete. And this is a guy that isn't playing only because he's a national player. He has contributed 3 touchdowns this year, and the league's longest touchdown from scrimmage, a 96-yarder from Kitna.
And that was against the London Monarchs, lest we forget. 2nd down. Kitna with a lot of time, looks for Martos. Matt Gay is there, and he's got Martos! And that's the taunting we're talking about. It's a touchdown for Barcelona. What a play. 68 yards.
And Nick, we just got done saying that Marco Martos, the first non-kicker from Mexico to ever score in professional football, is a big part of this offense. And he is certainly a threat. His nickname is Speedy Gonzalez. And the Speedy Gonzalez got behind the defense on that last touchdown.
What a moment for Marco Martos. And we said it about Jon Kitna, or you said it, certainly, Brian. Give him time, he'll kill you. The extra point attempt from Angoy. He's perfect on the afternoon so far, 3 for 3. And the Barcelona Dragons are 21-10 up with still 12 minutes of the first half remaining. What a shootout this promises to be.
And the key here is the protection. We talked about it before the game. You give Kitna time. Look how much time he has right here. He can all the time in the world, and that's Gay right there that Martos gets behind, and Kitna with an excellent touch on the deep ball. And we saw it all year long. And we talked about the taunting of this man right here. Very prideful. Look at the job by Duran Thorpe right here. This is a good matchup with Dunstan Anderson. Anderson beat him in game 1 for 2 sacks, and I saw Thorpe yesterday taking extra pass protection. Look at the wall that they create up front, and Kitna all kinds of time to deliver the long ball, and he does it so accurately. In that game, week 4 against London, they hooked up for 96 yards for a touchdown, and then 2 more touchdown passes last week. This guy is truly a very talented receiver and uses his speed very well.
I tell you, there's 1 or 2 NFL head coaches would be having strong words with him for the way he taunts opponents. Jack McNell's had some strong words with him. It doesn't seem to stop him, does it?
No, this is the World Bowl, and it's the world feed. It's going around the world, and I'm sure he has friends and family in Mexico that he talked himself up quite about. But Jack McNell is a class guy, and he wants his players to perform with class, and really there's no place for that, Nick.
But no doubting that man's talent. 66 yards it's officially been given, and a huge play. And the Barcelona Dragons 11 points to the good, and we said if Kitna is given protection, he'll kill you. We said Kitna can strike from anywhere with anyone. He's just done it.
And Nick, I did week's 4 game with Barcelona against London, and they were down 30-7 at the half, and I said to my partner that day, Howard David, at halftime, this game isn't over. This man is too dangerous. His arm is too accurate, and right here it's just one-on-one on the outside, and Gay is picking up Martos in his zone coverage. Martos never broke stride, and Kitna laid it right in the soft spot right there. The breadbasket, as we call it.
Yeah, now how are the Fire going to respond to that? That's a real sickener for them, just as they got themselves back into the thing. Well, a very shallow kick. Thomas Bailey has to come up to the 18 and field it, and he's looking for a hole and almost broke through, but he's down to the 35-yard line. 15 yards on the return, and there's confirmation of the fourth touchdown of the season for this fella. None more important.
We mentioned, Nick, that this team can strike quickly, and there it is. 2 minutes right there to go 79 yards. And the key was the protection. We said at the outset, you give Jon Kitna time, he will pick you apart.
So TJ Rubley in the right fire. They've got to pick themselves up once again. Antoine Carter in the backfield, and it's play action again, and Rubley manages to get it off, and it's incomplete. Michael Dritline seemed to have a shot at that, but couldn't hang on. And Dritline has only really had 13 catches this year, as we see Rubley's numbers last week against London, and that streak for him is continuing. But I must admit, at first glance, that pass to Dritline looked catchable.
I thought that he was going to go to Schrader, who had split the safeties down the field and was running by Carlos Brooks, but he went for the underneath man, Dritline, instead.
So that brings up a 2nd down and 10. Rubley has time, and he has the tight end AJ Ofodele. Michael Wright lowered the boom, but Ofodele held on for 24 yards and a 1st down. We have trouble with this man's name, don't we, Brian? But that's certainly a heck of a catch.
Not right there. Here's Ofodele right there, down the seam. He's one-on-one with the outside linebacker, Dupaski, and he gets deep. A nice shot by Michael Wright to try to knock this ball free. But this is a man allocated by the Baltimore Ravens, and he certainly has the skills that you're looking for at the tight end. He's big, 6'5", 260 pounds, and he runs very well.
1st down to the 40, and TJ Rubley calls another timeout with the play clock down to just 2 seconds. This an important drive, Brian. They can't afford to get too far behind.
And this is the 2nd time that Rubley has called a timeout when he saw the 8-man front, and they're a little confused about what to call in that situation. It's key, Nick, for them to come out of the huddle with enough time to make that audible call. And right now, they're coming out of the huddle a little slow and not giving Rubley enough time to make the right audible check.
Graylan Hall, well, he never smiles too much on the sidelines, but well, he has every reason to look concerned. He's seen his defense just get shredded, and Wes Chandler, looking on, knows his offense has got to try and keep up with this incredible Barcelona scoring machine. 3 wide receivers in, they go on the ground, and Antoine Carter breaks a couple of tackles and stays on his feet to the 33-yard line. They'll give him 7 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 2.
And one of the reasons why Barcelona was last in total defense this year was because of some really bad tackling, and we see that here on this play. Carter, who is a shifty runner, gets hit right there by Hugh Hunter and gets forced inside. But you're going to see Carter break this tackle right there by Thomas McGahee, and then it takes 2 more men to bring him down in the open field.
2nd down and 3. Carter, the lone setback, 2 tight ends. Carter gets the carry, doesn't get much, will probably lose a yard. He was jammed up. Juan Long forced him inside. And Ronnie Woolfolk will be credited with the stop.
Ronnie Woolfolk in Arizona last year. Here's the 8-man front, guys. You're going to see there's only 1 middle linebacker right there. And they're forcing Rubley to maybe go to the pass. Rubley said that we're not going to change our game plan because of the 8-man front. We still would like to run the football and force them to get out of that situation.
3rd and 4, 4 wide receivers. And all kinds of problems on the right side of the line, the right tackle. I think it'll be Ethan Brooks. Took a very, very early walk, the man from the Atlanta Falcons. This guy's had a good season, Brian, but just stood up too early there.
Snap, false start, offense, number 79, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Ethan Brooks right there, he's got to learn how to hold his water. This is a converted defensive lineman, a guy that has really benefited by the World League, a whole season at right tackle, where if he's going to get a shot with the Atlanta Falcons this year, it's going to be at that right tackle position. He's got a whole year of live bullets out here and it's really helped him.
On the shotgun on 3rd and 9, Rubley looks in the direction of David Rhodes. Can't quite get it. Carlos Brooks was there on coverage, and it's incomplete.
And that man has wreaked havoc on a lot of offenses this year. You're going to see Leroy Glover in the middle right there. It normally takes 2 men to contain him. He's going against John Jones, which is a good matchup inside. And Glover with the swim move to the outside. Gets in Rubley's face and definitely affects the throw by Rubley to the outside.
So Kyle Richardson on. Tyree Davis waits at his own 10-yard line. Richardson looks to angle it into the corner. Doesn't find the angle. That'll go into the end zone and out for a touchback Barcelona. They'll take over at their own 20-yard line with 8:45 remaining in this first half, and the Dragons leading it 21-10.
And welcome back. Mike, a lot of times when we talk about football, we always talk about the skill positions. But what about the trenches? Who's winning the battle of the linemen?
That's the real skill positions. And what's happening right now is Rhein's being able to run the ball, but Barcelona's doing what London did last week, and they're gambling. They're sending linemen in at angles to cut off the run and to rush Rubley. And so far, it's working.
Certainly is. Jon Kitna with a chance to build on this 11-point lead. Plenty of time to go first half. But the Rhein Fire defensively, they show no sign of stopping this Dragon juggernaut. On the ground to Michael Hicks, who's got a lot of yardage there. That'll be close to first down yardage, in fact, a pickup of 9. And if the Dragons start running the ball, the Rhein Fire are going to be in real trouble.
And the draw is the perfect complement right here. They're run it to the left side, and Hicks, allocated by Chicago. Rhein has got to put pressure on Kitna, trying to get to him, and this is the perfect counter to a team that is trying to get to the quarterback. And Hicks is a guy that the Bears are in love with. They really think that he can contribute this year as he did last year for 4 games.
And they gave him the full 10 yards, so it's first down. Once again, Hicks tries to go downstairs again. Tyrone Williams made sure he was going nowhere on that occasion, and that's going to bring up second down and long.
Talking with the Barcelona offensive lineman yesterday, they're such a pass-happy team. Sometimes you forget that these guys are capable of run blocking, and they said a lot of games this year they weren't allowed to get into a rhythm up front and really start knocking some heads off, and that's what they would love the opportunity to do today.
Because, yeah, as you say, Brian, they've been respectable, 110 yards on the ground per game, but this is what they do best. Pass with Kitna, who's got a wide open man, Tyree Davis, who tries to spin away from Artis Houston and Lee Cole, and does so for extra yardage, and eventually is pushed out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. But when this guy gets the ball, anything can happen.
Davis is a guy that'd like to run underneath on a lot of crossing routes, but once again, look at the job up front. Chris Banks right there, Rob Sock, Emerson Martin. These guys are a little upset that they didn't get much All-World League recognition. And the big thing about Tyree Davis all year has been his yards after catch. He's always able to make some extra yards. He doesn't go down easily. And here, leaves Artis Houston in the dust.
The Dragons knocking on the door once again. Kitna waits, has a man. Michael Hicks won't get much, maybe a yard. David Merritt, the veteran NFL linebacker, coming up and making the stop, and that's going to be second down and long for Jon Kitna.
Kitna told us in the meeting that it's really important for him to get off to a good start, get some rhythm early.
And apart from that interception, it's been pretty good for the Barcelona Dragons.
And the interception really was a drop by Bryce Burnett. That ball was right on the money, and he started weeks 1 against Rhein with 13 straight completions in that game, led to a big victory to start the season.
Second down and long for Barcelona. Kitna will pass again, has a man wide open, Alfonso Browning. And he gets away from Lee Cole and goes in. Touchdown, Barcelona. And this is turning into a rout. 39 yards.
If you give Jon Kitna time, he will pick you apart. And as you've seen, he will throw to a myriad of receivers. You can't key on just one.
So he's going to say Lee Cole was burned badly there because he had Browning and let him go. And with 6 minutes left of this first half, what a game we are having. 28-10. And there's a lot more points still in this game, I think, as Jon Kitna's only just getting warmed up.
And he has spread those 8 completions around to his tight end, his running backs, both Terry Wilburn and Michael Hicks, to his wide receivers, Martos and Davis. You're going to see Kitna's reaction right here. A lot of time. Look at Rob Sock up front right there. They had blitzed the safety on his play, and it left Cole one-on-one with Browning. But Browning is a big, physical guy. He doesn't go down easily. I talked to Zoe before the game. He has a Super Bowl ring with San Francisco. He said this would be much more important. It'd be bigger because I made a contribution to this year's team, whereas only a practice player in San Francisco. And he came back here this year strictly to win a championship.
And they're almost halfway there as Jon Kitna goes down to congratulate him. 28-10, 6 minutes to go, first half. And the Dragons have rediscovered their fire after that 4-game slump. There's confirmation. 5 plays. They just bang them in so fast.
He told us in the meeting on Friday that I'm always looking for the big play. I'm always trying to find that isolated situation where we can really exploit it, and he's done it twice this evening.
Can Thomas Bailey come up with a big play for the Rhein Fire? No, he can't. He's brought down by Hugh Hunter at the 34-yard line. And the Rhein Fire really need to respond here, or at least hold this 18-point deficit to half-time and try and regroup, because right now they're just getting ripped to shreds.
And I said in the pregame, Nick, that Jon Kitna is the leader of this team, and when you're the leader of an entire football team, the team takes their cue from him. And when he's on fire and he's hot, it seems like it elevates everybody else's performance, and we've seen an excellent performance out of the defense, who has been maligned this year early so far this evening.
3 touchdown passes for Jon Kitna already.
And he's using last week's game where they really turned on the faucet, where he threw for 5 touchdown passes, and really riding that wave of momentum.
Hi, Dad. What's up, Coach Oli?
His mom and dad out in Tacoma, Washington.
Derek Clark in the backfield. Lots of panic. They look for Dritline, who lets it go off his hands again. Michael Dritline has just had 13 catches this year. That's a couple he's dropped already in the World Bowl. Guy allocated from the Chiefs.
And right now, Barcelona is dictating the tempo and the way this game is being played. Rhein down 28-10, are not establishing the run, have not been able to do that today, and that was certainly their game plan.
Foster and Schrader are lined up wide to the right. Schrader can be so dangerous. Rubley has time. This time he goes the other way and he has a man. And that's going to be first down yardage to Thomas Bailey, who picks up his 7th catch of the season. Good for 11 yards. And a chain mover.
Bailey's mostly been used as a return man this year, but we said that Rhein would like to come out in a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, and they're doing that this evening, and he comes in when they do it.
Back on the ground, not much there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, but no further for Derek Clark, who was brought down from behind. Steve Brannan, who was cut by Amsterdam in pre-season, but finishes in the championship game. And meanwhile, we have an injured Dragon down on the field. It's Quan Long. And they can ill afford to lose their leading tackler. But Long gets up under his own steam, but is limping very heavily, and we'll have to keep an eye out on that situation.
I talked with Juan before the game, and he was irate that he didn't make the All-World League team, and he was determined to come out here tonight and show everybody that he deserved to be on that team, that he's had a monster season, led the World League in tackles with over 100 tackles, and he has contributed 6 sacks when they go to the blitz.
Getting good applause. The man who was here in '95 as well.
A man that spent time in the NFL with San Diego in '94 and '95 and was in Tampa Bay last year.
Schrader, Foster, and Rhodes, or rather Bailey, are the triplets wide right for the Rhein Fire. On the ground again, Derek Clark, looking for some running room, gets over midfield, just runs through tacklers and will be very close to first down yardage. Carlos Brooks in on the stop.
Derek Clark, who is very deceptive. He looks like a big, powerful back, but in the open field, he's very capable of making some moves and making people miss like he did right there, and always with that forward lean and with the head down, fighting for the extra yards.
First down to the 45-yard line. Play action. Rubley looks, has time, looks in the direction of Schrader and gets him to about the 13-yard line. And that's the first time we've seen the threat of Bill Schrader turned into reality. Butler by Note on the stop.
And the key was the play action fake by Rubley, which gave him a lot of time. And Schrader comes all the way from the left side of the field right here. The offensive line does a nice job of selling the run. You'll see Schrader coming across the middle right here. A long time to run this route. And that's Roger Green, who's responsible for picking him up. And Schrader has been dormant here this evening. They need to get him involved in the action.
32 yards for Schrader. Not many there for Derek Clark, who ran into Eric Naposki. And that's going to bring up second down and long for the Rhein Fire. 3 minutes remaining first half. The Fire need to punch this one in and then hold Barcelona and then get in at half-time and regroup and rethink.
Naposki, who has been on teams that have gone to 3 World Bowls, he's never won it, and he's never played due to injuries. This is his last shot. He's going to retire. He's a bodyguard. He does a lot of things in the offseason. This is his last shot to win the ring.
Foster the motion man. More play action from Rubley, who rolls out to his right and then drops it off to Foster, who is crunched at about the 3-yard line. Roderick Green was in there on the stop. But it's going to be very close to first down yardage. In fact, from where they spotted it, that will be a first down and goal from the 3.
This is just a bootleg, and they've been very effective with this on the touchdown run by Rubley and the long pass to Schrader. He's just buying time here for Foster to come over the middle, and it's just pitch and catch right there. And Rubley delivers the ball fine. They're using Rubley's athletic ability to the max right now.
On the ground again, Derek Clark plows his way close to a touchdown. No signal yet.
Good surge over the right side of that line right there.
Well, they're going to take a good look at this. Steve Brannon was right there and has stopped it, but only just. That's going to bring up second and goal.
That is a 2-minute warning. 2 minutes.
Hi there. While I'm on the sideline, behind me is the Rhein Fire team. They're a bit somber, a bit touchy, but there could be something very exciting going on next. Now, I've never been to a game here at Barcelona, and I have to tell you that the atmosphere is absolutely mental, absolutely insane. And later on, I'm going to try and get some of the coaches from the other World League teams out of the VIP bar. Hopefully, they'll have a chat to you. It's back upstairs to you, Mike and Kevin.
Second, this drive here has been very good for the Rhein Fire.
This is pure Rhein Fire. This is the first time since the opening drive that they've looked like the team they were all season. Juan Long going out makes a big difference to Barcelona because Vince Landrum is a pursuit type, more of an outside linebacker than an inside linebacker. Doesn't give him that run-stopping capability in the middle. And did you see when they ran the bootleg, a line of white shirts all the way across the field? They had tremendous blocking there.
Now, in this situation here, will we give the ball to a running back or a quarterback sneak?
Well, you don't want mistakes, which means the sneak is easier, but with Derek Clark, you got to figure he's going to pound the ball in anyway. So I'd look to see Clark have it.
And then you still have to be worried about Barcelona because their offense is only taking a minute or two each time they've gotten the ball to score.
Yeah, now the downside of that for the Dragons' point of view is that their defense stays on the field for long periods of time, and as Barcelona's defense gets more tired, Derek Clark especially becomes more of a factor because he's such a pounding runner. But right now, this is what Rhein need. All they can worry about is one drive at a time. They've got the drive, they've got back on the board, and they've closed the gap. So at halftime, they're not going to go in as long as they can hold Barcelona. They're only going down by a touchdown and a field goal.
Okay, so being down by that score, who would have the momentum going into the second half, say if Barcelona doesn't score anymore?
Right, if Rhein stops Barcelona, then momentum's gone Rhein's way at that point. Barcelona still has the lead, but Rhein's the team that's moving the ball, and if they can keep it going that way, they get right back in the game, and the pressure goes on to Kitna.
And it's a 2nd and goal coming up here for the Rhein Fire. Looking to punch this one in. Derek Clark in the backfield. And Rubley goes in on the quarterback keeper. Did he get enough? He only needed less than a yard. And there it is. Touchdown, Rhein Fire. With 1:51 left in this first half, the Fire dragging themselves back into the game.
And Rubley really demonstrating his leadership on this drive, a drive that Rhein desperately needed to score in. They used his bootleg and his running ability to find Schrader over the middle for the big play to get him down into the red zone. And he's just staying behind his all-World League left guard right there, Sheldon, hugging him tight, him and Spencer Folau.
Manfred Bergsmuller, meanwhile, has tacked on the extra point. And we have a 28-17 ball game here in Barcelona. 1:47 left first half, and TJ Rubley with 2 rushing touchdowns this evening. And if the Fire can just hold Barcelona here, which is by no means guaranteed, and they can regroup and rethink, this thing could still be wide open.
Well, you mentioned in the pregame, Nick, that this man has NFL experience, and that will really come into play. Keeping his team emotionally stable right now, not letting him fly off at the handle, making sure that they get touchdowns when they get the opportunities, and make some plays. He knows that the team depends on him to be able to put the team in the best situation, call the right play, and keep the guys calm out there. And right now, you see some calm on the sideline of Rhein.
Mind you, they won't be too calm when Jon Kitna gets back out on the field. The damage that young man has wreaked already in this World Bowl final. 3 touchdowns passing. I got a feeling there's more to come for the Dragons. I've just been told that Rubley's 2 rushing touchdowns, a World Bowl record. I'm sure records not uppermost in any player's thoughts right now. Butler Benote fields at his own 1-yard line. And looks for holes, can't find much, gets it out to about the 22-yard line. A 21 return from Benote, who could be NFL bound as a returner if nothing else. He really has impressed this season.
And he's really gained by the World League as well. He was a running back at Ohio State, and he's made the conversion to defensive back when he was in Denver, and he's really gotten a lot of good repetitions here this year at the corner.
Good crowd, 31,000. Everyone enjoying the late afternoon, early evening sun. And most of these fans, Dragons fans, but a good couple of thousand have come down from northern Germany to cheer on the Fire. Play action, Kitna looks, has a man over the middle. Bryce Burnett pops it up, and it's gone straight to Marco Martos, who's gone again. And when the luck is yours, but are they ruling it incomplete? Are they saying it's an incomplete pass?
Good things happen to players that are hustling and are trying to get around the football. And when your team is confident because of Kitna at quarterback, good things occur as a result.
Well, it was a huge play, but it's not going to stand. That pass ruled incomplete.
Here's Bryce Burnett here, the tight end. He comes over the middle. He finds the open hole in the zone right there behind Fieldings. That ball is a fumble.
2-minute fumble rule.
Yeah, that's a fumble.
That ball is a fumble.
There is no doubt about that.
Marco Martos here. Big plays aren't scripted. They happen because players are hustling. and Martos was going to the football. That call was blown by the referees here, Nick. That was a loose ball and should have been a touchdown.
And even more perplexing is they've given Burnett 9 yards. Now it's gone to Michael Hicks, who gets close to first down yardage.
What they must be ruling, Nick, is that you can't advance a fumble. But that ball is loose. It's got to be a loose ball. They got to at least put it where Martos recovers it.
A bizarre call, but a break that the Rhein Fire needed badly.
And they came up and delivered the big shot to Burnett. A lot of fierce hitting going on down on the gridiron.
First down inside the final minute. Michael Hicks, the ball carrier once again, looking to try and turn the corner, and Chris Schilling brings him down after a gain close to first down yardage. And that stops the clock with 44 seconds remaining of a breathtaking first half.
Hicks did a good job of getting out of bounds on that play, running the draw, their favorite run here this evening. And there's the offensive job's duty to get that runner into the secondary, and it's the wide receiver's job to be able to free him. And Tyree Davis right there, an excellent block on the corner of Lee Cole.
Second down and short. Kitna looks, has time again, and it was almost picked off. It was looking in the direction of Alfonso Browning, and some pushing and shoving. And all kiss and make up time. That's going to bring up third and short with 38 seconds remaining.
We mentioned Kitna is always looking to make the big play, but in that haste of doing so, sometimes he forces the ball. And this one, I think he really tried to force into Browning right there. You saw the double coverage coming from Anderson to safety, and that was almost a very dangerous play against Jon Kitna.
Terry Wilburn in the backfield. Tyree Davis in the slot. Marco Martos out wide to the left. That's where he's looking. He's got Martos, who is flattened after he makes the catch, but it's a first down, and the clock stops. And Kitna will rethink.
Barcelona, first charge, timeout.
Just try and get it into at least field goal range. With Jack Bicknell.
Do it from wide.
Run X deep. Just run X deep.
Yeah.
We're talking upstairs
wide
to
right,
Dick Curl, the offensive
wide
coordinator.
Right, okay.
Let's go, John.
And the back London, John. London. Wide right, Jack Z. London.
The London part of that call is the running back. The running back will check protection first, Nick, and if he can get out free and the offensive line is holding up, he'll run a London route on the backside. It'll be a safety valve for John if he gets stuck. A guy that's been quiet out here tonight in the receiving corps has been Shedrick Wilson.
Certainly has. A man who's done such damage during the regular season. Maybe it's time to go to him. Davis and Martos are the wideouts. Browning in the slot, and they look for Bryce Burnett again, and that was almost picked off. John Anderson almost had a piece of that, and that stops the clock with 29 seconds remaining.
He got the situation he wanted. Bryce Burnett, the all-world tight end, one-on-one with Anthony Fieldings. Here's Burnett right here on the right coming out. And Fieldings is waiting for him. He's running with him right down the seam. Kitna overthrew him, one of the few errant passes we've seen from Kitna this evening.
Anthony Fieldings had the coverage, but that ball deflected away from John Anderson, hence his frustration. Second down and long. The pressure comes, but Kitna just rolls away from it, buys himself time, and then cuts across the grain and finds Wilburn to the 41-yard line. First down with 19 seconds remaining, and a timeout called Vladimir Illich, the German, on the stop. And what does Jack Bicknell do here?
Jon Kitna has been dangerous when forced out of the pocket all year long. Has been able to make a lot of big plays on the run.
Slot right, Mike, come back, Rio. Okay, slot right, Mike, come back, Rio.
With no timeouts left right now, Nick, they've really got to aim to the sidelines to be able to stop the clock.
Well, I didn't think they had any left either, but we're hearing otherwise, just one left.
Well, the comeback route that he's talking about, that's on the sideline. They want to be able to get the ball to the receiver on the sidelines and get out of bounds and stop the clock. that's what we're looking to. It's a national series right now, Nick, so when they go only 3 wide receivers, Marco Martos is at the receiver, Shedrick Wilson is out. Right now they're going to the 4 wide receiver set, and Wilson's in the game.
On first down, Kitna over 200 yards in the first half alone, and he's chased down and brought down from behind by Dunstan Anderson after a pickup of 7 yards. Now that means the Dragons will have to burn that final timeout with 13 seconds remaining. They're getting close to field goal range.
Barcelona, third and final.
Dunstan Anderson right here is going against Duron Thorpe, an allocated player from the New York Giants, and he got the best of Duron Thorpe in week 1. It's just a speed rush to the outside, but unrelentless in his pursuit of Kitna right there, and that's an excellent play. And that really makes Galen Hall happy when he can get pressure from his front 4 and be able to drop 7 into coverage.
Well, Anderson has a sack to his name already tonight.
And the irony was that Dunstan Anderson came to Tulsa as a quarterback, and now he makes a living trying to sack quarterbacks.
They need probably another 15 yards to get it into field goal range. If this team thinks in terms of field goals, Brian, the way they go, it's end zone, and end zone.
And Kitna doesn't think field goals at all, Nick. He's thinking end zone right here, right now. Look for him to go deep. They've got 3 wide receivers to the right side.
And wide to the right is the dangerous Marco Martos. And Kitna just has to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. Good secondary coverage from the Rhein Fire with just 8 seconds remaining, and a flag comes in late. Once again, there was a bit of talking and pushing and shoving, and I've got a feeling the Fire might have been guilty on this one.
That's Duron Thorpe coming in there for the football, and Fieldings. Oh, nice little shot to Tom Robsock, and Robsock points to his mask going, "What about that, ref?" Well, they threw the flag right there, and it's a costly penalty because this will put Barcelona in field goal position.
Unbelievable from Anthony Fieldings. And he's a veteran player on this team. He knows better than that.
He's the leader of this defense, and he's got to have more control. They can't give up an easy 3 points in this situation, and right now Ngoyi out there to try the field goal.
Jeff Beckley will hold.
That's the shot right there by Fieldings. Robsock was in Fieldings' ear, kind of baiting him right there, and you've got to have more control in that situation. This could lead directly to an easy 3 points.
37 yards for the former Barcelona goalkeeper. And it's close, but wide.
And look at Jeff Beckley down there. He says that was good. Ngoyi said that ball was good.
It's funny, this is what happened in a game against the London Monarchs in the regular season. It was wide almost identically to this, and Beckley and Ngoyi both moaned about that as well.
We're going to take a look at it right here. And
it's wide. It's wide.
You got to look at where that ball is crossing the crossbar. And from our perception right there, it's difficult, but it looks like it is wide to our right, to their left. Everybody on Barcelona has got their arms in the air like this is good. And look at the reaction right here of Ngoyi. He says, hey, that's 3 points, right, fellas?
No. And I tell you, the most relieved man on the field will be Anthony Fieldings, whose cheap shot put Ngoyi in that position, but close, not good enough for the Barcelona man.
Plenty of leg on it, though.
3 seconds remaining, and the Rhein Fire take the knee and probably breathe a huge sigh of relief that after a breathtaking first half, they're only 11 points adrift of Jon Kitna and the Barcelona offensive juggernaut. It's 28-17 in favor of the Dragons over the Rhein Fire. Tremendous stuff. We're going to take a short break. We're back in a couple of moments.
So here at the World Bowl in Barcelona, the Dragons lead the Rhein Fire by a score of 28-17. And Mike, I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed with the Rhein in the first half.
They've had a tough half, and you know, it's been a great half of football, very exciting half, but there has been some sloppy play, and Rhein's had the worst of that, penalties and turnovers. And Barcelona, after going down 3-zip to Rhein because of their penalties, then came right back in the game. They worked Terry Wilburn on the draw and on the screen pass. He got the touchdown on a draw run, a nice little 13-yard run. And you'll watch it right here because here comes Wilburn. See the little delay, and look at that block by Everett Lindsay in front of him. The receivers block. They block really well. Tyree Davis gets the hit, and Wilburn goes in for the score.
You know, and then there's been turnovers, but turnovers to me only seem to be worth something if you can convert them into points.
So that's a really big thing. And in a game like this, I mean, turnovers are big in any game, but in a big game, obviously, it can be the turning point. And Barcelona, they were able to pick up the first really big turnover in the game, but that came as a result of really good field position. They kept Rhein back for 2 straight drives inside their 10. And when you do that, a mistake becomes much more costly.
You know, Rubley here made a big mistake, but
yeah, and you see what happens with Rubley is he's going to look over the middle and not see Carlos Brooks because Carlos Brooks is hanging out and he's late coming back. And Carlos Brooks pulls up that interception. There's nobody between him and the end zone. He takes it in easily for the touchdown. And from Carlos Brooks, only a second interception here, but one of the guys who should have been in the All-World League team.
But then you look at Rubley, you say, this guy's a veteran. He looked to be losing some confidence, but he continued to stay with it.
Yeah, and Rhein's defense continued to stay with it as well. And when Burnett let that pass go through his hands, they got an interception. That set them up for a drive. And when they got near the end zone, Rubley took it in himself with the play we were looking for to get the first down just before that. But they use it for the touchdown, just a naked bootleg. And because their line is such a strong blocking line, when they go to the right, everyone on Barcelona goes right, Rubley goes left.
And a battle of the quarterbacks. Jon Kitna comes back, decides to answer him with the guy Marco Martos, who the British public would knows about because he had a field day against London and Scotland.
And he killed London on that long pass. And what makes him so good is that he never stops running. And what makes Kitna so good is he's got that touch, even on a long ball that's wobbling like a duck, but he's put it right where Marco Martos can get it. And now watch Martos because he's coming downfield, and Kitna sees that Gay is beat by a step. Now he airs it out, and when Gay looks back, Martos keeps running. And there's the distance. He separates right there at the last minute. And the reason he can do that is because Kitna has left the ball and laid it out for him. It's a beautiful pass and run.
How do you stop this Dragons receiver core? There's so many guys that they can go to. There's such a variety here. Tyree Davis, Browning.
The best way to stop him is to put pressure on Kitna, make him break out of the pocket and worry about running, because these guys will kill you in any number of ways. Tyree Davis and Alfonso Browning both run really well after the catch, and we get a great example of that from Tyree Davis. You're going to see him take the ball here, and what he does so well, what makes him such a good punt returner as well, is that once he picks up the ball, he's really slippery. Now watch this. He catches it, he stops. He should be tackled right here. And he's in the grasp, he gets out of it. And now he's going to get 8 more yards out of this run. He gets a nice block from another receiver coming back, and the guys work for each other. The receivers make each other look better by blocking Alfonso Browning, who in the NFL they say, oh, he's a big guy, he doesn't have enough speed, but watch what he does after he makes the catch. Alfonso Browning's 6'4", he's maybe 215 pounds. He doesn't have great speed, but he's got enough speed to get open. He's got really good hands, and like Tyree Davis, for such a big guy, he can make you miss.
All right, so are these guys talented as far as getting away, or is it something that they've had to work on?
It's a lot of that's hard work. And you watch these guys in practice, they work at it hard. So Browning got the touchdown after that on a 40-yard pass. And then they came back. Rhein comes back with another touchdown. Again, Rubley takes it in, just a safe play on the sneak. If this gets them back in the game, we talked about momentum. Barcelona may have got that back because they were threatening right down to the last seconds.
And it made the score 28-17. Here, Rhein Fire had to play defense. They did probably one of their best defensive jobs on that last drive.
And again, the stupid penalty nearly gave Barcelona 3 more points. Now, Angoy has to take all of their kicks because Joe Wood got hurt. He's gone back to the States. Angoy's got a strong foot, but so far his longest professional field goal is 35 yards. And I think what happens beyond that is he worries a little bit too much about getting the extra leg in it, and that's what causes the ball to hook. He doesn't miss him by much, but he does miss him.
Can Barcelona's defense withstand the pressure. They've been out there a long time in the first half.
That last drive does them a lot of good because Barcelona gets the ball back at the kickoff. Let's see if Juan Long comes back. That'll be a big thing.
Okay, now we've had hundreds of entries for our competition to win tickets to Dublin in July for American Bowl. Time to find out the winner with Gia, but first the answer to last week's question.
We'll make the draw in a minute, but first the answer to last week's question, which was which Pittsburgh quarterback owns all the QB records for the Steelers. The answer shouted out was Terry Bradshaw. Whoever wins will get a subscription to Touchdown Magazine, their choice of replica helmets, and you'll of course win that trip to the American Bowl in Dublin, July 27th.
Competition time, and I've got a helmet full of potential winners for the competition to go to the American Bowl in Dublin, and I've asked Rosalita here to pick the winner, and it is Brian Swandell from Dundonald and Ayrshire. I don't know where that is, but Brian, congratulations. See you at the American Bowl.
A reminder that you can see that game exclusively live on Sunday, the 27th of July, 6 p.m., Sky Sports 2. A few minutes to kick off, so let's enjoy some of the halftime show in Barcelona. The whole of the second half coming up after the break. Don't go away. Hey, it's about team football here, but you know our team. How about that Gia down on the sideline?
You know, for someone who fancies herself as the Queen of Scotland, you'd think she'd know that Ayrshire is up in Scotland, north of the border. You lose points there, honey.
But second half football game, what do you think Jack McNeil said to his team?
I think he said that's a great half. You've got to keep the intensity defensively. Don't get cocky. Don't force it offensively. We get the ball back. Let's move it downfield and get another score. Keep the pressure on Rhein, because as long as Rhein has to play catch-up, it works in Barcelona's favor.
And Galen Hall?
Galen Hall said, look, let's settle down, play our game, stop the stupid penalties. That's killing us, and we'll win the game if we can do that. We can come out now and they can play. If they stop Barcelona first time out, they can put the ball on the ground, play their game, and you know they completed one long pass to Schrader. We'll see more of that in the second half.
Okay, the maestro has spoken. So the score, 28-17 from the Olympic Stadium, Barcelona. Let's rejoin Brian Baldinger and Nick Halling.
Hang on, Kevin, who's the maestro around here? Mike? You've got to be kidding. Actually, Mike is absolutely right. And I think another key point, though, is that the Rhein Fire have got to try and do something defensively to slow down, or if not slow down, at least halt this Barcelona juggernaut. Offensively, they seem to be able to do whatever they want at the moment, Brian.
Barcelona has really dictated the tempo from the beginning. They've shut down the Rhein rushing attack, and conversely, they've gotten very little pressure on Jon Kitna, and it will be interesting to see what Galen Hall does adjustment-wise when they come out for the second half.
Well, it's still all to play for. 28-17, 45 points in the first half alone. We predicted points here, Brian, but I didn't expect 45 in the first half.
We saw the two best offenses getting together here on the field, and defenses a little suspect. Wasn't the strength of either one of these teams.
Well, we're underway with the second half. Butler Benote fields the kickoff at about 5 yards into his end zone for a touchback Barcelona. And the Dragons will get their hands on the ball first of all in this second half.
And this is going to come back
lip-read Phil Luckett correctly.
There was no play, no play.
Atlee Anderson isn't happy about that. He kicked that ball into the end zone.
The stadium clock continues to show 14:55. They'll have to reset that.
And that's a confident look and smile on Jon Kitna's face. He's anxious to get back out here and resume the fireworks that he exploded for in the first half.
Yeah, 3 touchdown passes. Impressive stuff. I talked to him during the week and said, what's the biggest game you've ever been in? As we some Fire fans getting on down. He said, it was an NAIA Division II championship game. We tied 21-21 with Findlay of Ohio. I said, you throw any touchdown passes? He said, yeah, 3.
There's another average game for Jon Kitna. He's looking forward to training camp that starts in Seattle in 3 weeks. He said he's been over here long enough. His wife is pregnant. She's back in Seattle right now, and he'll be battling Warren Moon and John Freeze for some playing time there this year.
The way he's played here, 2 or 3 years' time, he could be the starter there. Lee Larson kicks it off once again. Another good kick. Butler Benote fields about 4 yards deep and decides to come out with it and then falls over. Big mistake from Butler Benote, and a flag comes in once again. Benote is down inside his own 10-yard line. And usually you have to say when a kick, and that one's incidentally gone against Barcelona, but when you see a kick go 4 yards into the end zone, you usually want to stay put.
Yeah, this was a mistake right here, bringing this one out, and then they compounded this mistake by a clip from Willie Smith, number 52, right here. This is a push right in the back, and that's flagrant right there on Mark Brook. Mark Brook right here getting hit by Smith, who's trying to make a play after a busted play to start. So Barcelona with very poor field position. They can ill afford any mistakes coming out in the second half.
First down from their own 4 with Terry Wilburn in the backfield. 3 wide receivers out. On the ground they go to Wilburn, who doesn't get much. Probably back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Israel Stanley in on the stop.
And the problem that Barcelona has had when they had that 4-game losing streak, Nick, is they weren't capable of putting 4 quarters together. And they would break down during periods of games. And Jack McNeil said, we haven't played 60 minutes of solid football yet this year, and it'll be interesting to see what they do here to start the second half.
And Darren Hall's teams have a history of adjusting well in the second half of games. Kitna under pressure, just had to get rid of it, otherwise that was a safety, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10.
You asked, Nick, what does Rhein have to do to get back in this game? They have to put pressure up front. And it starts here with James Wilson, number 74 in the middle, who swims to center Martin and then gets rid of Chris Banks. He gets in the face right there of Kitna, and Kitna took a hard shot right there. You saw his head bouncing off the turf. They need more pressure up front from those 4.
That's what happens when Jon Kitna throws in the pocket. He can be devastating. And he's in the pocket here, but the pressure now comes, and he's got a man. It's first down yardage to Alfonso Browning, eventually stopped by David Merritt with John Anderson, but a huge play on 3rd and 10 from their own 4, and the pressure's off.
And that was confidence right there. That was a confident throw. 3rd and 12. You've just gotten 2 hits in a row hit on you by the defensive line, who looks like they're surging. And look at his pass to Zoe Browning in the middle. But good protection up front. Rhein likes to run those twists up front with the defensive lineman. Kitna never takes his eyes off of Zoe Browning, and Zoe Browning is a guy that's all business. He came back to the World League this year to win a championship, and those kind of catches are going to get him a ring this evening.
So first down once again for Barcelona, and it was almost picked off. They were looking for Marco Martos, and Kitna that time throwing into double coverage and getting away with it.
Kitna will always give away what he thought about his throw with his expression afterwards, and he just said, look, that's my fault. He pointed to himself right there, Nick. He had a lot of time, and he has made dangerous throws this year, trying to do too much. And I think he did on that last play right there. There's the twist done up front. Dunstan Anderson coming inside from the defensive end position.
On the ground they go, a huge hole for Terry Wilburn to the 46-yard line. 17 yards. They never saw it coming.
And Rhein was coming out with a lot of twists up front, and Barcelona catches them right here off the right side. You're going to see a split between Chris Banks and Duran Thorpe right here. Emerson Martin putting that 315-pound frame in the way of Fieldings and opens up a big lane for Terry Wilburn.
First down again for Barcelona. So important for the Rhein Fire to stop him on this drive. Wilburn, the ball carrier, pursued by Tyrone Williams and eventually pushed out of bounds by Vladimir Illich, the German. No gain on the play. That'll bring up second down and 10. They strung Wilburn out all the way, but here's a guy that's looking to get back into an NFL camp. He's been in a couple of camps, been on the practice squad of the Minnesota Vikings.
Began his career in 1995 as a rookie free agent with the San Francisco 49ers, and they're just trying to stretch the defense right here. That was a bad timing between Everett Lindsay and Bryce Burnett, and nice job of Vladdy right there to stay on his feet and force the play to the outside.
Second down and 10, and for Martos. Incomplete. You don't see Marco Martos drop too many. That looked catchable, Brian.
There's an axiom in this game, Nick, that when you taunt another team, it always comes back to haunt you. And that type of thing that he was doing in the first half on his first touchdown, running in backwards, your concentration seems to suffer right there. And Kitna put that ball right on numero uno. That ball should have been caught, and he should have still been running with it.
Barcelona, well, they run the ball less than any other team in the World League. They pass it more, and they're true to form here in the World Bowl so far. Kitna on third down throws has a man wide open again. Shedrick Wilson. We haven't called his number too many times tonight, but that good for 17 yards. Another big 3rd and 10 conversion on this drive for Barcelona.
And you're going to see Everett Lindsay right here doing battle on the outside, and that's Illich right there. That's what you do. That's how you finish a block. That's what Duron Thorpe came over here to do, to learn how to finish blocks. And Shedrick Wilson, just a question of time before he gets wide open, because he has scored 9 touchdowns this year, and he's been the favorite target of Kitna, especially in the red zone.
And Wilson shaken up on the play as well.
The last thing a player wants to do at this time of the season is have an injury before a guy like Wilson gets ready to go to Houston to try to make that team this year.
First down. Movement at the line. Looked like Everett Lindsay, the left tackle, jumped early.
Everett Lindsay came over here this year. You're going to see him false start. He can't really hear. That's why his head was turned, Nick. He was looking in at the ball, trying to hear the cadence of Kitna. And sometimes when you're out there and the horns are blowing and these German fans are making all that noise, it's very difficult to hear. But Lindsay came over here this year. He was injured last year in an off-season basketball game. He missed the whole season with the Vikings. And Denny Green said, come on over here, get some snaps, get your legs back, get healthy, have a good season. Stop playing basketball.
First and 15, they go to Terry Wilburn, who tries to shake and bake and once again gets past the first tackler, doesn't get past the second man in, who's Anthony Fieldings, who made a huge hit, and another loss on the play. Loss of 3. And that's going to make it second and about 18, but there is a flag.
A lot of sloppy play, but you're going to see a nice play from Michael Swift in the secondary, and Terry Wilburn thinks he can bounce it to the outside. He's had some success doing that. But that's good team defense by Rhein. A lot of white jerseys around Wilburn right there on the tackle.
Inadvertent flag, incidentally, so no penalty, but second down and long.
He was the team's MVP in 1995.
Kitna drops, has time off the fingertips of Alfonso Browning. That's plays worked from a couple of times. Not quite on that occasion. That's going to bring up third down and 20 for Kitna.
And Kitna is getting a little sick and tired right now of these drop passes. He's putting the ball right on the money. We saw Burnett drop one that led to an interception. Martos dropped one on this drive, and now Alfonso Browning. It's really inexcusable. Kitna is putting the ball where it needs to be put.
Well, they converted their last 2 3rd and 10s. They're the best team in the World League at third down conversions, but this 3rd and 20. Surely the Fire know what's coming. The question is, can they stop it? Pressure comes. And Kitna dumps it off to Terry Wilburn. He's got a lot of work to do. Gets past Artis Houston and is brought up short of the first down by John Anderson.
And Kitna's saying, let's go for it. Well, we're short of the first down. We know it's 4th, but we're deep in the territory. We're at a field goal range. And Kitna is begging Bicknell to go for it here on 4th down.
Well, really, they lose nothing if they do, Brian, I suppose, as we take another look.
Yeah, right there, Stanley gets off on a quick jump, and he splits the zone offense right there of Banks and Thorpe, and he gets a lot of pressure on Kitna.
And they are going for it on 4th down and 5. Wilburn in the backfield. Browning, the motion man. Play action. Kitna rolls, dumps it off to Alfonso Browning, who spins away and then is down, and he's going to be short of 1st down yardage, and the Rhein Fire defensively have held firm, and how big could that stand be? Jack McNell frustrated that he couldn't add to that 11-point lead. The Rhein Fire holding firm. Jon Kitna frustrated this time, but he'll be back for more in the not too distant future. 8:30 to go, 3rd quarter, 20.
Hey, there's a lot of life left in this game. Barcelona is 2 for 6 for the year on 4th down conversions. Yeah. Do you think that was in the back of Jack's mind?
Well, the thing is, with Angoy out there kicking, they can't afford to try the field goal from over 40 yards. So now you're left with a short punt by Beckley. It cost him 10 yards in the end, but it's okay. I mean, they'll get away with that. The good thing for
16 yards for Sean Foster on the completion. That takes it close to midfield.
And they start the second half exactly the way they started the first half, with the bootleg, trying to make the big play.
So we see Clark, Carter, and Powers, what they've done today so far. Clark, the go-to guy. You're going to see a lot more of that in the second half, I would suspect, even though the Fire are 11 points adrift. Antoine Carter runs into trouble and will lose a couple there. Juan Long, who was hurt in the first half, clearly not feeling the after effects of that ankle problem.
You're going to see Ryan up here. They really like favoring the left side. That's Sheldon 77 and Folau right there 70. And they're going after Oliver Barnett. And Antoine Carter cuts back. Nice job by Juan Long, staying home, sitting in the middle, waiting for the cutback that Carter really favors.
Well, the Dragons need a healthy Juan Long. He's had an outstanding year at middle linebacker. Had a busy year, it has to be said. Teams do like to run on the Dragons. Rubley falls backwards and looking in the direction of Thomas Bailey. Can't find him. They played it into double coverage. Gregoire Marlowe was there to break it up, the Frenchman.
It's a national series, Nick, so Mallow is in there at the safety position, and that's an excellent job by him coming from center field and getting a hit on Bailey, the receiver. This is one-on-one with Michael Wright, who I like. I think he's a quality cover man, and he's in good position, inside out on Bailey, but the hit by Mallow right there, he says it all.
Yeah. Played some college football, Gregoire Marlowe, and he hasn't just popped up out of the outskirts of Paris or somewhere. Played at Western Washington. On 3rd and long from the shotgun, Rubley looks, and it's incomplete. And Thomas Bailey argues that there should have been a flag, but Michael Wright was there to break it up, and 3 and out.
And Nick, we said at the opening of this telecast that the key for Barcelona is what they were able to do on 1st down. And they forced Rhein in there to 2nd and 3rd down passing right there, and that's their game plan. No yards by Carter on that 1st down run, and force Rhein into a situation that they're not really comfortable with.
Kyle Richardson, who's had a erratic evening, to say the least, will kick it away to Tyree Davis, who's capable of breaking one open anytime.
And they're playing for the return here, Nick. They're double covering the wideouts.
Good kick from Richardson. Davis has to field at about the 6-yard line and will try and return it from there as well, and can't get much down inside the 10. The Rhein Fire, not only do they return or block kick coverage better than anyone else in the league, they also stop punt returns as well. But the bottom line is it's still a 28-17 Dragon lead, and it's the Dragons who'll have the ball when we return.
Hello there, welcome back. Well, I'm on the sidelines with someone very well known to London Monarchs fans, Lionel Taylor. Lionel, what do you think of the game so far?
The game has lived up to its advanced publicity as far as scoring. Hey, there's been some big plays, and a game like this, to get into the playoffs, it's the guys that make the big plays, and that's what's been taking place today.
Are you surprised at how well Barcelona's been playing?
I got news for you. Barcelona's been playing real good defense also, and that's, you know, and when they play in good defense, they can explode at any time.
So what have you been up to today? You haven't been swanning around the VIP room, huh?
No, they won't let me in, Tim. But everything's been great.
I'll try and get you in there. Thanks,
okay.
Thanks for talking.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, if Gia can't get you in there, you've got no chance, LT. on the ground and a loose ball, and the Rhein Fire are saying they've got it, and they have. What a big turnaround. Lee Cole coming up with it. But are they overruling their original call?
You're going to see the draw right here to the left side, the strong side. And this is Wilburn right here trying to make a cut. That ball is out right there, and the hit was made by Mark Brook.
But they're saying he was down. Oh, that's a big turnaround. What a sickener for the Fire. They were off the field, their defense.
Mark Brook got his left hand on the ball being run by Terry Wilburn. You're going to see it right here. There's Brook right there coming off for that's. The ball's out. It's hard to see if the knee is down. There's Mark Brook, 56. The ball gets kicked, and then there's a scramble for it.
It's tough to be conclusive, you're quite right. But what we do know is the Barcelona Dragons have picked up 3 yards, and when the luck's with you, sometimes that's what you need to win a championship. Second down and 7. Kitna going back to doing what he does best. It's a first down completion once again. And Tyree Davis is still on his feet and pounding away. And the Dragons get themselves out of trouble, and Kitna gets himself back on track, 15 yards.
And Tyree Davis was like a pinball in a pinball machine being bounced around, and the hitting has really been stepped up here in the second half. And you saw the ball come out against Wilburn. That is something that Rhein is going to try to do on every play. Really scrap for that ball, try to knock it loose. They need a turnover right now to disrupt the rhythm that Kitna has.
Tyree Davis, the World League leader, had a good season. Kitna waits till the last possible moment and picks out Shedrick Wilson. What a huge play for the Dragons. 30 yards straight over the middle.
All year long, this has been a very explosive combination. Wilson coming in today tied for the lead in touchdowns with 9. And Kitna once again gets good time up front. And Wilson running free in the secondary is a tall receiver. He's 6'3". He's able to leap very, very well. Aggressive going after that ball in the middle of the secondary. That was Anderson that he caught the ball in front of.
All the way to the Fire, 42-yard line. Back on the ground they go. Wilburn tripped up after a pickup of maybe 4 yards. This drive, remember, it started inside their own 5-yard line. They've moved it into Rhein Fire territory.
And it's been good balance on the offense, too. They've run the ball here with Wilburn on a couple of draws, but it's been Kitna in the big plays that he's able to make because he's getting time from an offensive line led by right there Tom Robsock that feels like they got snubbed by the voting for the All-World League team.
Kitna complete once again. Marco Martos will pick up around 3 yards. Yeah, you make the point there that the offensive line felt snubbed. Rhein Fire, obviously, they just gave up 1 sack and opened up the big running lanes. But this Fire offensive line, they thought they did a pretty good job, too.
Yeah, you'll see Robsock right there, the left guard, who's been in the Raiders camp the last 2 years. He's just going for the cut right there, trying to get the hands down so that Kitna can deliver the quick pass over the lanes. And he did his job. Defensive lineman thinks that's a dirty play right there. Offensive lineman says, hey, that's fair game.
And you used to play offensive lineman, Brian, right?
I like that cut block.
3rd and 3. Kitna looks, finds Wilburn, who's got a lot of room and 1 man to beat. Lee Cole pushes him out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. 18 yards and a first down for Barcelona.
And Kitna's found a new favorite receiver in Terry Wilburn, who's gone to him a bunch out of the backfield today because of the matchups by Fieldings. They think that they can buy some time right there. Obviously, Wilburn 6 steps in front of Fieldings right there, winning that battle, and a great block on the outside by Marco Martos, the national player, contributing down the field, trying to get a few more yards for Wilburn.
5 catches for Terry Wilburn. And it's first down. And Kitna looks, has a man wide open again. Bryce Burnett just plows his way inside the 5-yard line. Just pushed Lee Cole over. 12 yards and another first down. This time it's 1st and goal. And Jon Kitna and this Barcelona scoring machine seemingly unstoppable.
Well, the offenses in the NFL have gone to the West Coast style of offense, Nick, because the ball is delivered quickly and on timing, and it spreads the entire field. And when your quarterback is accurate and he gets protection, this is a very effective offense, and this man is a general at running.
First and goal. Wilburn, the ball carrier, gets past the first guy and goes in untouched. Touchdown, Barcelona.
That draw play behind Everett Lindsay, who Jack McNell thinks is the best offensive lineman in the World League, and clearly maybe got snubbed by the voting for the All-World League team. And this man is having a big day.
Terry Wilburn's second touchdown run of the game. He's their leading ground gainer. He's caught 5 catches as well. The extra point tacked on by Angoy, who incidentally has set his own World Bowl record with 5 PATs, but Terry Wilburn has given Barcelona a 35-17 lead.
Hi there, welcome back. Well, I've managed to drag Jim Kreiner out of the stands. Jim, how have you been enjoying the game?
Oh, very much. You know, it's an exciting football game, a lot of tremendous individual effort, so I've enjoyed it very much.
So what have you been doing? Watching the game, relaxing, having a beer?
You know, I've been doing all the things that the fans do, and I tell you what, fans have got it tough. I found that out. I mean, they have to wait in line sometimes for a beer or for something to eat.
Now, what are you doing after this game?
Well, actually, my wife, after all these years, is dragging me off to Italy, so we're going to Italy for 5 days after the ball game.
Great. Have a good time. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm sure Jim Kreiner will have a great time in Italy. He's deserved a break, worked hard. Once again for the Scottish Claymores, disappointed not to be here, of course, maybe next year. Meanwhile, here comes the return. Thomas Bailey just slips over and then is met and pushed out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. And with 2 minutes left in this third quarter, Brian, it's essential that the Fire step up here, and we need a couple of their big-name players to really show what they've got.
And the guy that's been quiet today is Schrader. Billy Schrader has had the one catch on the bootleg across the field. It took a long time for that route. And Rubley and Schrader have good chemistry. These two guys hooked up together in Green Bay a couple of years ago, and you know, they've only hooked up for 2 receptions here this evening, and it's time for this group to get it together because they can be dangerous, and there's big play potential between them.
Ricky Powers in the backfield. Rubley has time, can't find Schrader. It was thrown slightly behind him, but again, it looked like one of those that could have been caught, although Rubley's taking the blame.
And that's what they want to do with Schrader. Get him on the move, get him running the football and using his ability to be able to break tackles and his speed to get downfield. And that's a Jerry Rice pattern right there. 3-yard pattern underneath, but maybe you turn that into a big gain using your athletic abilities.
Second down. Defensive line twitching, looking and trying to make things happen. Rubley held his nerve. Now he's in trouble. Flushed out by Ronnie Woolfolk and just has to put it up for grabs and looks for Schrader again. It's incomplete. A very dangerous pass from Rubley. Butler Benotti on the coverage.
And the strength of this Rhein team has been the running game, which they can't really stay with right now. It hasn't been productive because of the pressure that Barcelona has been able to put on Rubley today. Rubley right there went off his first receiver very quickly, and then by the time he came back to the second receiver, which was Schrader, you'll see it. He looks to his left right here on a 3-step drop, but good coverage over there by Michael Wright. And then here comes Naposki on the blitz.
3rd and 10 from the shotgun, and Rubley is going to try and carry it on his own and gets the first down and more. 16 yards for Rubley, who scrambled a lot in the early weeks of the season and was forced on his toes once again.
Yeah, and Rubley right here using his athletic ability as he has on the 2 touchdowns he scored today. But there's good pressure up front by Barcelona. And Rubley right there, he knows he has to move the chains. He doesn't have to get it all back on one play. Get the first down, take the first down, and operate from there.
To the 45-yard line, Rubley takes a deep drop this time and unloads, and there was a little bit of contact there, but the flag indeed does come in. It came in late. He was looking for his big tight end, A.J. Ofodele. Carlos Brooks doesn't like it.
No, and I tell you, I think Carlos Brooks was in good coverage on this particular play. It wasn't a great throw by Rubley. In fact, I don't think the ball was catchable. And Jack McNeil is giving that look like, what in the world are you calling?
Number 30, automatic.
That is the look of disbelief.
That's one of those that you can't even argue with. You don't even bother to shout.
But, you know,
shout.
Kitna will always shout and complain about it, okay? That's the emotional substance of that man right there. One of the things that makes him such a great player is his competitiveness.
It's a first down for the Fire. They needed that. The swing pass, and they got it off. Ricky Powers just plowing. In fact, Derek Clark plowing through for about 11 more yards. And that will be it as far as the third quarter is concerned, with the Rhein Fire driving, but Barcelona leading 35-17.
And it's one more quarter left. We're in the fourth quarter, and the Barcelona Dragons leading 35-17. Mike, what have you enjoyed the most about the game so far?
Well, this third quarter I really enjoyed because what Barcelona did was come out and run off 2 long drives. And in the first 13 minutes of that quarter, Rhein only got to run 4 plays. And that's how you protect a lead, especially against a team as dangerous as Rhein.
And that's a drastic change from in the first half where Rhein controlled the ball for 20 minutes to 9 points something for Barcelona.
And we talked about how if Barcelona's defense has to stay on the field for a long time, it'll work to Rhein's advantage. The amazing thing about the Dragons offense is the way they can go down to 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 20 and still depend on Kitna to get the first down.
First down at the 25-yard line. Derek Clark can't quite squirt away. He was looking for some big yardage there, but Juan Long said not this time. And they'll give Clark 3 yards and bring up a 2nd down and 7. Neil Austrian, the president of the National Football League, looking on in conversation with Alton Bird, the general manager of the London Monarchs. Neil Austrian went to Scotland last year, thoroughly enjoyed the experience of that World Bowl, and back for more. 2nd down and 7. Rubley just has to throw it away. The pressure came and Rubley got rid of it. So important for the Fire to score on this drive.
Yeah, you know, Ryan's offensive line only giving up 1 sack the entire year, and that's the reason. Rubley has that green light just to get rid of the ball. Last time Barcelona came with Naposki on the blitz from the outside, got in the face of Rubley and he threw the ball away. But now it's paramount on this 3rd down to either get the first down or get the touchdown because time is ticking.
And they can't muck about. If they don't get it here, surely they'll have to go for it on 4th down as well. Rubley on 3rd down and 7. Looks, and it almost picked off again. That was close. Roderick Green got a fingertip to it, no more than that.
You're going to see here in the slot, there's Dritline. They're trying to run a pick pattern right there. And that ball should have been up over the top to Dritline for 6 points. That's where he should have gone with the football. He had time.
And they are indeed. Going to go for it on 4th down, are they? Or no, a timeout has been called by Barcelona. And Rubley's numbers so far as disappointing as the Rhein Fire's evening. We're in the 4th quarter. We've got 13.5 minutes left of World Bowl 97. And the Rhein Fire are trailing the Barcelona Dragons 35-17 with a big 4th down to come when we return.
I'm down on the sidelines with a competition winner, Paula Trewin and Keith Littlewood. Paula, when did you come to Barcelona?
Friday afternoon.
And what have you been up to?
All sorts. Sightseeing, beaching, drinking.
Drinking. I hear that you got back quite late. What, Friday night?
Yes. Yeah. Legless.
How are you enjoying the game today?
Oh, it's brilliant, brilliant. Lovely atmosphere.
And do you have anything to say to your friends back home?
Hi to everybody in London, all the Monarchs fans.
Great, thanks a lot.
On 4th down, Ruby looks for Sean Foster, got him, touchdown Rhein Fire. What a big play.
One-on-one outside with Mark Washington, and boy, Rubley needed to make a play at that time, and Rhein just will not go away here this evening.
With 13.5 minutes left, a huge play on 4th down. Sean Foster, the former London Monarch, coming up with his 3rd catch of the ball game. That the most significant by far. And they're going to go for a single extra point, successfully converted by Manfred Bergsmuller. And The Rhein Fire, as you say, Brian, they're not going to give it up. There's a flag down on the field.
Wes Chandler has done a great job with this receiving core. Foster right there, coming in today's game with 31 catches. That was his second touchdown catch. But Dritline and Schrader and Rhodes, they've all improved under the tutelage of Wes Chandler.
Repeat the try.
Well, a flag against the Rhein Fire means Manfred Bergsmuller extra point is going to be attempted again. It's 35-23 at the moment. And you never like to see a point, even an extra point, get taken off the board like that.
Points are too hard to come by in this game, Nick, just to give them up.
And this becomes a long extra point for Bergsmuller, 30 yards. No problem for the 47-year-old German. And the Rhein Fire pull to within 11 with 13.5 minutes left, and we got ourselves a ball game here.
Yeah, Nick, you're almost 47 years old. Nick, why aren't you back out there? You're going to see right here on the outside, Sean Foster one-on-one with Mark Washington and Rubley off a three-step drop. Here's Foster out here one-on-one with Washington. He gets a step on Washington early. And Rubley doing what he had to do in that situation. He needed to throw a strike to keep this team in striking distance. And right now, Rhein down 11 with over 13 minutes to go. There's a lot of time on this clock. A turnover by Barcelona down here right now, and a capitalization by Rhein really tightens this game.
But the key, surely, for the Rhein Fire is defense. They've got to find a way of stopping Jon Kitna. We look at Bob Lord there, who's done such an outstanding job with the Rhein Fire offensive line. He was saying to me, he said, yeah, they've given up just one sack. It makes my CV look terrific, he said, but TJ Rubley gets a lot of the credit for that, for his mobility and his good decision-making.
He's talking to his troops right now. He's a confident guy, and that confidence spreads throughout the football team, and that's what good leaders have to do, and you love it when your quarterback is the leader.
Well, there's confirmation of the scoring drive completed by Sean Foster. And now if Rhein's defense can hold things up a little bit, this could get interesting. Butler Benote, who brought the last one out of the end zone. In fact, it's Tyree Davis who brought the last. That goes down, and it's going to be a touchback to the 20-yard line. Well, the Rhein Fire enjoying their first winning season. And they always said, Brian, if this team turns into a winning team, the fans will come out, and they came out this year.
The German fans have been great, and Ernie Stautner said his dream was to bring football to Germany one day, and the two teams there in Frankfurt and in Dusseldorf have really taken hold, and the fans, tremendous, wherever they go, on the road, they bring their fans. At home, they're tremendous. It's been great for the World League.
And I tell you, there's a couple of thousand Dusseldorf fans here, Rhein Fire fans. And they really have made their presence felt. You can hear them probably in the background even now. Jon Kitna already up to 350 yards. A new World Bowl record for him. And I think there's a few more yards to come from Jon Kitna before this one's done.
He came into today's game breaking 15 records that Barcelona had in the books, and he's been three-time league MVP of a particular week this year, and he's really been the guy that has elevated this team into the World Bowl, and a guy that is capable of putting the pressure on his shoulders. He wants that situation.
Meanwhile, there was a flag on the play. The Rhein Fire assessed 5 yards. That's a really frustrating flag. When Atlee Larson had picked the last one into the end zone for a touchback, it would have been to the 20-yard line. That's where Jon Kitna would have taken over from. But what happens now as Atlee Larson has to re-kick it? It's another good kick from the Norwegian, but it's fielded at about the 3-yard line by Tyree Davis. And they give it to Butler Benote, who looks to try and turn the corner and gets a little bit of extra yardage before he's pushed down. 20 yards on the return, so no damage done really by the flag on the original kickoff.
In a championship game, you want to pull out all the stops, so we've seen the reverses today, and there's a play in a Barcelona arsenal in the offense this evening where Shedrick Wilson runs a reverse pass. They haven't tried it yet today, but it's something that's there, and they're just looking for the right situation to take advantage of it.
Well, Jon Kitna protecting that 11-point lead. You know, I was talking to Marco Fuste, the general manager here in Barcelona. He said to me before the game, if we get 35 points, we win. 28 points might not be enough. Well, they've got their 35. I'm not personally convinced that's enough yet.
I don't think anybody here is convinced that 35 might be enough.
Michael Hicks in the backfield, but they go to Tyree Davis, who spins away to the 29-yard line. Chris Schelling in on the stop, but a pickup of 5 to Davis.
And they use the passing game to set up the run. You know, this is a run to them. And look the way he spreads the ball around to the wide receivers, the tight ends, and to the backs. You can't really key on any one particular man. And he really gets the ball into a lot of different guys' hands. And that's why they love playing in this offense, because everybody knows they're going to get their share of balls.
Second out of 5. Kitna on the draw play they go, and it's a good one. Very effective. Michael Hicks to about the 36-yard line. And it's a first down Barcelona, and if the Fire want to keep their World Bowl hopes alive, they've got to snuff this drive out in a hurry.
We just got done saying that Barcelona sets up the run with the pass, and that's exactly what they did. They came out in the first down to Tyree Davis, picked up some yards, and then ran the draw with Michael Hicks. Very effective at taking advantage of that pass rush, trying to get pressure on Kitna.
Big problems for Pete Kuharczyk, the defensive coordinator of the Rhein Fire, who's watched in disbelief, I'd imagine, as his defense, which has done such a good job this year, has been dismantled by Jon Kitna, and Kitna's looking for more again, and he's got a man. Tonight it's the loose ball. Tyree Davis had it, Marco Martos is there, and they're ruling it down. And a first down at the 20-yard line. John Anderson can barely believe it. 45 yards, and the Dragons are on a roll.
You just got done saying that maybe 35 points isn't enough, and this man right here, Jon Kitna, doesn't think 35 points isn't enough, and he wants to make sure about it. He's always looking to make the big play, and on the last play, Nick, he ran the audible at the line of scrimmage. He saw a situation that he liked, and he took advantage of it, getting the ball to Davis, and you saw his accuracy and touch on the deep ball.
Davis comes up limping. Wilson was banged up earlier. Browning was shaken up on a play earlier as well. All these wide receivers are paying the price.
And the irony about Tyree Davis, that his brother Willie Davis, who now stars for the Kansas City Chiefs, one time played in this World Bowl game with Orlando, coached by Galen Hall.
Yeah. That was a losing cause. Maybe the brother can restore the family name. On the ground they go. Michael Hicks cuts back and picks up 9 yards and still on his feet. Second down and short. Chris Schelling, the run-stopping safety, eventually on the stop. But not only are the Fire in trouble as far as stopping this is concerned, but the clock runs as well.
Look at the man, Everett Lindsay, right here. The allocated player from the Vikings. He's just on a pull, just trying to seal inside. And that's the double team on Tyrone Williams in the middle right there that really opened up that hole for Hicks.
Second down and 1. They go on the ground again. Michael Hicks is dragged down probably at the line of scrimmage. David Merritt, depends on where they spot that. But certainly my early indication there was that he was down short of first down yardage, though not by much. And if I'm right, Jack Bicknell's team will be facing a 3rd and short, which they are.
Zoom to Cub left. 5. Zoom to Cub left. 5. Zoom.
Zoom to 5. This is going to be a dive off the left side behind Lindsay and Rodsock right here.
Samuel Alangi, the Finnies in the game, wide to the left, and there's a bit of a mix-up there, and it's cost them the first down. Michael Hicks seemed to just sort of bang into Jon Kitna and lost all his momentum and was stopped short of a first down, and that's a big stand defensively by the Rhein Fire because it sends out Jesus Angoy.
Yeah, look at this confusion right here. Kitna thought that Hicks was going to take an outside route on that play, and Hicks came inside, and it was very lucky that that ball didn't get knocked out of Kitna's hands because it really caught him by surprise, the route that Hicks took to get the ball.
Well, he had a 37-yarder go wide, the one-time Barcelona goalkeeper. And they run the risk of a delay of game. In fact, the play clock has gone down to 0, which is not going to help Angoy one little bit.
Prior to the snap,
offense.
Because that means he's going to have to kick it 5 yards further. It's going to be around 34 yards.
And prior to that, this year, he was 3 for 3 inside of 30 yards, and he has only been 2 for 6 outside of 30 yards this year.
And he's got to kick this one. And it's going to be a 35-yard attempt. Remember, he's missed from 37, but not by much. That one took a wobble and then spun in. And Angoy's face shows his delight. And we have a 14-point differential now. It's 38-24 in favor of the Dragons, 8:49 remaining.
Beckley does a nice job of putting that ball up, getting the seams for Angoy.
Hey, we're still in the fourth quarter. Barcelona has been able to move the ball up and down the floor every time. So would you say that basically the game is over with as far as Rhein Fire?
Yet. We're only 2 touchdowns in 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Rhein's got to score. Barcelona ate some more time off the clock. But whenever the Dragons get conservative, bad things happen. You know, when they didn't get on 3rd and 1, I really looked for them to actually put the ball up in the air, look for some more yardage. Whenever they get conservative, try to protect the lead, that's when they get in trouble.
Hey, they still haven't got Schrader into this football game.
No, and that's a bad thing for Rhein because they have to get this passing game working.
Thomas Bailey with the return from his own 6-yard line all the way to the 31 before he stopped, and vital that TJ Rubley gets things moving here. 27 yards on the return before Mark Washington comes up with the stop. But 14 points, like Mike Carlson said, 2 touchdowns, but they've got to get a 1 in quickly, and then they've got to stop Barcelona offensively and do it again.
And this team has big play potential, and the man you have to look for is Billy Schrader. He has scored 6 touchdowns this year, a big touchdown in Week 8 against Barcelona on a 73-yard acrobatic catch. They need to get him involved.
Rubley's going from the shotgun on 1st down, and is under pressure from Ivan Imbanon, the Spaniard, and rolls and rolls and rolls, and gets some blocks, has some time, and then he's hit from behind. And it was Imbanon, the Spaniard, that made it, and the follow-up made sure. But mark that one down to number 66, Ivan Imbanon, and an 18-yard loss.
And a lot of that problem right there is the wide receivers, Nick. Because when Rubley is scrambling like this for his life, like he is, they've got to come back to the football. He's got a good pocket right here. His receivers are well covered. But Imbanon, who at one time was a big-time soccer player here in Spain, gained too much weight, turned to football, is a relentless pursuer and a very emotional guy. That made his day right there, a sack in the World Bowl game.
2nd down and a stack. They look for Sean Foster, who won't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. He's going to be about 5 yards short of that. 11 yards on the pickup. And an awkward-looking 3rd down and 16 coming up for Rubley.
But he didn't panic on that situation. He gained 11 back. A bad play on 1st down, got 11 of it back. And now he cut the distance a little bit on his 3rd down. And
Jon Kitna reflecting on just another day at the office. Not over yet. The time running out for TJ Rubley on 3rd down. He's looking for Foster again, a catchable ball, and Foster knows he should have hung on to that one.
That hurts.
Yeah, we don't need too many words for this. This was a catchable ball.
No, Sean Foster took his eyes off this, trying to turn upfield and get the 1st down. Feeling the defensive back coming on him, feeling the presence. And that's frustrating for TJ Rubley, trying to make a play to keep his offense alive.
Kyle Richardson has to kick it away. Tyree Davis waits at his own 34-yard line. Good high kick from Richardson. Davis fields at the 31, looks for blockers, doesn't get much. The coverage, as it has been all season, pretty good. David Rhodes pushing Davis out of bounds, but Jon Kitna is going to come back out on the field with a 14-point lead with less than 7 minutes remaining.
The Barcelona Dragons continuing to control this game. Do they have the running game to run out some time here?
No, absolutely not. That's the problem with the Dragons, is they have to move the ball in the air, but they can throw possession-type passes that will keep possession and eat up the clock. And Brian Balder Jr. will tell you that offensive line is doing a great job.
Some tremendous yardage put up already by the Barcelona Dragons. Kitna over 400 yards. That's a World Bowl record, and the Rhein Fire pretty well shut out offensively, and it'll be on your bike time for the Fire if they don't stop Jon Kitna and the Barcelona Dragons on this drive. With 7 minutes remaining, and Barcelona looking to pad that 14-point lead with Michael Hicks in the backfield. The 3 wide receivers out, movement at the line, but no flags, and Hicks runs into trouble. Israel Stanley, they've got their ears pinned back, the Fire defense. They know they've got to stop it here.
Even the mascot's not going to be able to help them right now. This is important, though, right now for the Rhein defense to have a series where it's 3 plays and out. To get the defense off the field and give the offense an opportunity for a big play.
Al Luganville, the Amsterdam Admirals head coach, who coached the Admirals to the World Bowl 2 years ago. Being uncharacteristically shy there, trying to hide behind a couple of bodies. That's not like Al. 2nd and long.
Where was his chalkboard at?
Michael Hicks just squirts all the way through for 21 yards. And that's another huge offensive play for the Barcelona Dragons, who seem to be able to do whatever they want.
Right up the gut right here. That's a double team by Rob Sock and Martin. And then Duron Thorpe coming around from the outside on a tackle pull. And Michael Hicks is a guy that the Chicago Bears are really in love with. They thought of some live bullets and some experience in the World League. He can come back to Chicago and be that 3rd down type of back that can really help them out in those situations.
To the 40-yard line. They hand it off once again, and they stay on the ground, and this is killing time. Michael Hicks picks up 6 more yards. I think you might have heard what Mike Carlson had to say, that Barcelona can't control the ball on the ground. That's fired him up a little bit.
It's interesting because we just got a picture of Al Luganville, and the one time this year that Rhein really struggled defensively was against Amsterdam. And what the Admirals were able to do that day was control the ball up front. And by doing so, they had time of possession in their favor over 42 minutes. And they had victory on their side as a result.
You know, you see it in the stands and on the sidelines. Barcelona supporters everywhere think their team has this one in the bag. It's a little early yet, but Michael Hicks will get very close to 1st down yardage on that one. And it's so frustrating for the Rhein Fire. See Mark Brook just shaking his head as he came up there. They just can't find a way to stop the Dragons.
I thought early in the season, Nick, that the pride of the offensive line of this team was what was making it a successful team. Something that Lionel Taylor really never had a lot of this year was a good offensive line. But I think that Barcelona felt like they had the best offensive line in the World League, and maybe they didn't show it on all 10 games this year, but they were out to demonstrate here today that they are the class of the league at that line position.
First down, Terry Wilburn checks into the backfield, and it's his turn now, and Wilburn just pushes his way for a tough couple of yards, and Tyrone Williams will make the stop. But fans everywhere just jumping up and down in excitement. You can hear them applauding in the background.
Kitna is a leader. He's a general out there on the field. He's constantly motivating his players, patting guys on the helmet, taking charge, and a guy up front that has had a good game today on this offensive line is Darren Thorpe. A monster of a man, 6'8", 340 pounds, and he's a guy that has benefited by being in the World League this year.
They stay on the ground. Terry Wilburn tries to burst his way through the hole. They'll probably give him 4 yards for that, and they'll bring up 3rd down and 4. And the singing and the dancing and the chanting continues. And it's getting close to celebration time for the Dragons.
It always seems to be celebration time in Barcelona. These people find reason to celebrate in this country, and this area of Catalonia right here, they come alive on weekend nights.
And during the week and Sundays.
They don't take any days off. That's the prize.
And it's within the grasp of the Barcelona Dragons. It would have seemed a long way away 2 weeks ago when they went through their 4th consecutive defeat in Frankfurt. Ernie Stautner's farewell to the Galaxy. They lost 29-17 that night to complete 4 straight losses, but they bounced back last week with 46 points against Scotland, 38 points here, and looking for more. And it just goes to show what happens to a team psychologically. They had this thing wrapped up after 5 weeks. They knew they were going to the big show. They took their foot off the gas.
Yeah, they sure did, Nicky. There was a natural letdown the following week in week 6 against London, and finding that chemistry that produces winning football is a very elusive thing. And as quickly as you can regain it, you can lose it. And they lost it for a month.
Yeah, you can't turn that thing on and off. Although Jack Bicknell has managed with the Dragons. Kitna's going to go back to pass. The pressure comes, but Kitna rolls away and he gets a first down.
I think that's the first. I don't think I've ever seen Jon Kitna slide this year.
Well, Jon Kitna knows he's going back to Seattle anytime soon, and he doesn't want to get hurt. Meanwhile, the faces on the Rhein Fire sideline tell their own tale and how different it is on the Barcelona sideline. There's Eric Naposki. He's waited so long for this. He missed out in '91. He's going to get it now.
And he's got 2 daughters at home. He writes their names on his shoes before every game, and this is going to be his final performance as a professional football player.
On first down they go once again. Michael Hicks will pick up 3 yards.
And I'll tell you, Nick, this is a great feeling for an offensive line when you can control things up front, chew up the clock, take up the space right now, and get first downs and control things on the ground and do a great job. It's a tremendous feeling in that huddle, knowing that you really accomplished the biggest goal that you had of the season, to win the World Bowl.
Spencer Falau there from the Baltimore Ravens. Looks like he's going to be a loser. No losers in green tonight. Galen Hall staring at a second straight World Bowl defeat. He lost with the Orlando Thunder 5 years ago. It's going to take a lot for Galen Hall to get this one back, and these fans, they know it, Brian.
31,000 of them plus here this evening came out to cheer on the Dragons, and they love their sports in this country, and they've really gotten behind Barcelona here in their march. And these players owe a lot to their fans and to the support that they get throughout the World League.
Well, one man who isn't celebrating just yet is Jack Bicknell, who's seen so many crazy things during his 36 years of coaching. I don't think he'll celebrate till the final gun. And there's a disaster there on a loose ball. Sylvester Stanley came through and broke it up, and the Fire have recovered it. Anthony Fieldings, and you can put those celebrations on ice.
And Nick, and that's why you saw a pensive Jack Bicknell. You're going to see great penetration by Israel Stanley right there. Forces the bad handoff by Kitna. I think if Kitna had a chance to take that play back, he wouldn't have even tried to give that ball off. And you can never relax in this game, Nick. And a guy like T.J. Rubley is never going to quit. A guy like Billy Schrader is never going to give up.
I gotta be
Well, Jack Bicknell simply cannot believe what has happened. It was all going according to plan. And now the Rhein Fire have a chance from the shotgun with 4 wide receivers out, and Rubley is going to scramble and pitch it back and throws a block as well. Ricky Powers still scampering up the sideline close to midfield. That was a gutsy play from Rubley, who sprung Powers for a good 15 further yards.
Rubley was not the MVP of this league because of his inability to make plays. This guy is always going to be trying to find a way to beat you. And right here, he's looking for his 3 wide receivers on the right side, but they're well covered. And this is what he does best. He can make plays on the run, he can improvise, and that's what he does with Powers. And then look at this gutsy play. Throws the block on the middle linebacker long to get Powers an extra 15 yards.
On the shotgun again, Rubley looks, and almost picked off. Instead, it's a catch to Michael Dritline. Or are they saying it was incomplete?
You're going to see Dritline here. He's going up against Thomas McGahee. And Rubley, who gets a lot of time right here. Here's McGahee right there, along with Dritline. You saw the ball on the ground.
Floor, yeah.
Very good call by the referee.
Not much has gone right for Michael Dritline tonight. No catches. Rubley completes this time. David Rhodes will be close to first down yardage with Carlos Brooks all over him. I think they're going to move the chains, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Is there going to be some final drama? Has Jack Bicknell and his team got the nerve to hold on? Can Galen Hall produce a miracle? We'll be back in just a couple of moments to find out.
Hey, Mike, let's get straight to the point. Can the Rhein do it?
They can do it, but I don't think they will. I was wrong about Barcelona running, though. Yesterday, Jack Bicknell said, I don't like the running game. Bad things can happen, and we saw it there.
Indeed they did, and the Rhein Fire managed to get the ball back, and TJ Rubley is trying to keep this drive alive. They've got a first down at Barcelona's 45, as we see my old buddy Bill Mast in the middle there, flanked by Matt Millen and Kevin Harlan calling the game for Fox. And there's what it's all about, the World Bowl trophy on the left there. 74 pounds it weighs. And Brian Balding has strength to pick that thing up. Rubley's got an ocean of room ahead of him. Races for the sidelines, can't get there, otherwise he'd taken a hit, but down to the 22-yard line. 22 yards on the completion. Jack Bicknell can barely contain himself.
Schrader's got out one-on-one coverage on the outside right now.
And that's where they go. And it was, is it incomplete? It was an interception. Michael Wright, he came up with it, and that surely is it.
Michael Wright, who has started every game at the right cornerback position. Defense 19 passes this year, none bigger than to stop the Rhein drive in the final 2 minutes of the biggest game in the World League this year.
Rubley's second interception, and surely not even Jack Bicknell's erratic Dragons can let this one slip away. Although with the Dragons, you can never quite rule anything out.
They always give you reason to gasp for air because they do some crazy things in situations that it's not called for. Michael Wright, what an athletic move.
Actually got that interception off Michael Drittline's shoulder pad.
Michael Wright, who was the 5th-round pick of the New York Giants in 1992, was schooled of this game by Everson Walls, and then in 1993 they cut Everson Walls and brought Michael Wright in to take his place.
Ryan Fire call a timeout. That's all Galen Hall can do, and they can't do it again. Just pause for a moment, I think, Brian, to just thank a couple of the unsung heroes up here in the truck with us. Carlos Galindo, our statistician, wearing his Barcelona flag very proudly, and Kevin Duffy, our spotter. Thanks, fellas.
They made our job very easy up here tonight, Nick.
Derek Clark's job wasn't easy. There's another guy that's made our job a little bit easier, and that's a Barcelona Dragons hat in there as well. A little bit of partisanship behind the lenses.
Fox brought 14 cameras with them here today to televise this game live back to the United States. Americans can't get enough American football.
Rick Rotondo there. And Jack Bicknell, meanwhile, has just had the Gatorade shower. They really are celebrating now. And I tell you, Barcelona, you said it earlier, they never need an excuse for a party. And here comes the shower. He doesn't know it yet.
He's going to yell at his defensive coach right there, tell him, why didn't he warn him?
Oh, did you see him? He just got out of the way.
And Nick, you've been around these guys all week, and you've done a couple of games this year. You know how much fun these guys have had in Barcelona and how close this team is. And they get together and go bowling every Thursday night. And I've had Bryce Burnett tell me that I've never had more fun playing football in my life than I did here in Barcelona.
But at the same time, you have to feel sorry for Galen Hall and the Rhein Fire. They're really the class team over the 10 weeks of the World League, without any doubt. But they've been well and truly beaten today, and he can have no complaints.
And in the chess match between Jack Bicknell and Galen Hall, Jack really won that battle because Barcelona had a game plan to shut down the running game and force TJ Rubley to put the ball in the air, and they weren't able to make enough big plays to overcompensate for Kitna's performance.
Well, there's the banner that says it all. And we're inside the final minute. Kitna takes the knee again. And I bet the Seattle Seahawks can't wait to get their hands on Jon Kitna. Jack Bicknell knows they've done it. They missed out in '91 when the London Monarchs shut them out 21-0 to win the inaugural World Bowl. Now in 1997, Jack Bicknell and the Barcelona Dragons are going to be champions of the World League. The dying seconds here. Dick Curl, the offensive coordinator with Jon Kitna, he'll never forget his experiences here in Barcelona.
And they said, you know, we did not know Jon Kitna in training camp. We didn't know who he was or where he was coming from, and it was the biggest surprise that they had given to him this year. And
And to their credit, they really developed this kid early and went with him and never strayed away.
Well, on 4th down, the Barcelona Dragons send in Jeff Beckley to punt it away. I wonder if there's going to be any drama here as we go through the formality of Jon Kitna being named World Bowl MVP, following Paul Justin in 95, Yo Murphy in 96, before that in 92 David Archer, and Dan Crossman of London in 91. And Beckley on the back end of his own end zone just has to kick it away. David Rhodes will attempt to return, and he can't get his hands on the ball with 4 seconds remaining.
This league has developed some good quarterbacks. Scott Mitchell and Brad Johnson has turned their experience from the World League into big paydays in the NFL. And I really believe that this man right here is going to have a very good future in the NFL one day, Nick.
I don't think there's many would argue with you. And the Dragon, he does his Jurgen Klinsmann impression. Galen Hall, well, he probably feels like it. One play left in the 1997 World League season. TJ Rubley has to throw it into the end zone and hope for some kind of miracle. And Rubley just puts it up for grabs. We're at 0, and it falls incomplete. And now the celebrations will begin. Jack Bicknell and the Barcelona Dragons are champions of the World League. And Brian, I think we have to say on the night, the best team has won and the best coach team has won. Jack Bicknell knew what he was doing. Jon Kitna certainly knew what he was doing.
Jack McNeil told me earlier in the season that he thought this was the best talent he's ever had in the World League. He's been over here for 5 years, and the guys proved it tonight in the biggest game. The talented team, the wideouts, the quarterback, and then the talented defensive backs really came up big here this evening.
And pretty soon, the Barcelona Dragons are going to get their hands on that 74-pound crystal sphere. Jack Bicknell's waited a long time for this. The only man in the World League to be a 5-year coach with the same club. And indeed, 3 of his assistants have been with him as well. Dick Curl, Red Kellin, Vince Martino. We mustn't forget them. Eric Naposki's played 4 years. You just see him there in the background, number 91. Rafa Silveira, the PR man in the suit and tie. He's been here from the start as well. A lot of people have worked very hard down the years in the cause of the Barcelona Dragons, and they will enjoy this.
It's a total team effort, Nick. And the one thing about Jack is he's an unflappable guy. You just can't get him riled up. You can't get him to say anything bad about his team. He believes in these guys. The guys believe in him, and that really says it all. This is a total team, and you get that feeling that these guys really do love one another being around them, and they're going to miss this experience over here. While a lot of these guys are going to go to the NFL in 3 weeks, it's sort of a bittersweet moment because I think they're going to miss one another.
Well, I'm sure you've been involved in championship teams down the years, Brian. It doesn't matter how good, bad, or indifferent they were. When you're on a championship team, you always remember those guys.
You know, I talked with Wes Chandler before the game, and I said, for a lot of these guys, they've never won a championship. And Wes, whether you win a championship at whatever level, it's a great feeling. And you always remember that great feeling. And for a lot of these guys who may never play football again, and Eric Naposki, who says he's going to retire, you never know if you're going to get an opportunity to get back to a championship level in any league.
They've done it. They are the champions. And that guy's nickname, Ivan Imbanon, is champion. He had a big sack today. Neil Austrian, the president of the NFL, to the right of your screen there.
And Jack really loves this league. He loves coaching over here. He loves the city. He loves the fan friendliness. He likes his team. He's really enjoyed his experience in these 5 years.
And the fans just chanting, Dragons, Dragons. Well, they've been through some lean times this year in terms of fan support, where the fans have really come out and shown in numbers what the Dragons mean to the city of Barcelona tonight. And the players have rewarded that faith with a pretty good display. 14 points the difference, 38-24. What a shootout.
Coaches are hunters, Nick. They love to find new players, and that man right there was the biggest find in this league, and he's the reason why the World Bowl trophy is going to be proudly displayed in Barcelona.
Now, question for you, Brian, how many Dragons can you fit onto a podium?
They'll fit the whole team up there. Everybody belongs, all 43 members.
There's a young Dragon fan, Shedrick Wilson's little baby.
And these players have made sacrifices to come over here and play. A lot of players have missed their sons and their daughters and their wives who've been left back home to take care of the little ones.
How do you like that? Dad's biggest night, and the little baby's sleeping all the way through it. He'll see that over the years.
The 1997 champions of the World League, the Barcelona Dragons!
World League President Oliver Luck confirms it. Barcelona, champions of the World League. Brian, you have to say, Jon Kitna, surely the difference.
There's only one thing that players play for in any league, and that's the ring. And that's all these players talked about all year, Nick. They are going to be able to wear World Bowl champion rings 1997.
Fireworks lighting up the sky here in Barcelona. We're going to take a short break now. When we get back, we hope to have some reactions from Jack McNell and some of the players. Stay with us.
And our congratulations to Coach McNell. But you know, the thing that is impressing me is the fireworks. They know how to treat a champion. Maybe they're used to winners here.
Yeah, they are used to winners in Barcelona. They expect it from their sports teams here. And this is just like the closing ceremony of the Olympics. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this since 1992. They've got a great crowd here. They're over 30,000. Their team's put on a really good performance. And Jack McNell, after 5 years, has delivered for the fans in Barcelona.
Coming into this game, you said that you thought Barcelona would be the winner. Why was that?
I said it's a very dangerous thing in sports to think that you can turn it on whenever you need to. But watching Jon Kitna and these guys last week against Scotland, you came to realize that they knew they had to put it together last week. And once they put it together, they weren't going to let it go again. And they were ready when it counted today.
Did Jon Kitna think he had something to prove by not winning the MVP of the league?
I don't know if it affected him all that much. It certainly affected his brother, who was going crazy yesterday because he wasn't. And I don't know, you can make a good case for TJ Rubley as the league's MVP because he was consistent all season long. But I think Jon Kitna was certainly the league's top quarterback without question and should have been the guy in the all-star team there.
You know, they give awards usually to the people in the skill position, but the offensive line, I thought, for Barcelona was outstanding.
Well, they delivered when they had to as well, and I think those were the guys who started to feel, well, we should have gotten a bit more notice as well. Emerson Martin at centers had a really strong season. Everett Lindsay is the best tackle in the league as far as I'm concerned. Duron Thorpe has a lot of learning to do still and strength to get, but he was a key guy because he had to stop Dunstan Anderson, and apart from 1 or 2 plays, he did that today.
Shedrick Wilson, not a great game, but the other guys seem to come up with the goods.
Well, and it's something you said at the beginning of the game. They've got so many good receivers that you can't keep them all in check forever. And Shedrick Wilson was quiet. They were concentrating on him when he made a couple of big catches. They went long to Marco Martos. They went long to Alfonso Browning. They went long to Tyree Davis. I mean, what do you do to stop all those guys? And if they don't drop a couple of catches, it's even worse.
And the defense, they seem to come together.
Yeah, and a big play defense, they did exactly what we said they would do. They put 8 guys up front, they stunted a lot, they brought the linebackers to upset their rhythm, and it worked. They stopped Rhein most of the time on the first down runs, made them throw the ball. Their defense, the cornerbacks played a really good game. They overplayed, did a great job in coverage. They have problems with their secondary, but remember, 3 of the guys in Barcelona's secondary were cut by other teams. Carlos Brooks, he played a great game.
Okay, let's go down to the field where Nick Collin is with the MVP, Jon Kitna.
Well, I've got Jon Kitna here. He's celebrating as he has every right to celebrate. John, you saved up a good performance for the last.
Yeah, you know, the way this league works, if you win the first half of the season, realistically, you only have to win 1 more game. We got to go into it at the right time. You know, the other day they announced the all-world team. A lot of guys felt shafted, but it just gave us extra motivation. And, you know, this is what it's all about. Anytime you play sports, you want to come over and win the championship that the league has, and this is the championship, and you know it's the pinnacle, and it's great for these fans.
You won the NAIA Division II championship. How does this victory compare?
Well, in NAIA we actually tied, so this is the first time I've ever really won a championship. So you know, it's great. The NAIA championship was great also. You know, we played with a great group of guys, but you know, this is at the professional level, and you just want to keep progressing. You know, I can imagine that winning the Super Bowl would be even more. So, you know, I'm just excited for our team.
And obviously, you go on to the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks now, but I guess this is a night that's going to live with you for a long time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was just memorable. It's been a memorable 3.5 months over here, and you know, it's time to go home, but there's going to be some memories that I hope I can hold on to over here.
John, congratulations. Thanks a lot for joining us. Jon Kitna.
Okay, Nick, thanks a lot. But there were lots more celebrations in the World League this season.
First national player to score a touchdown in a World Bowl, Marco Martos. Tell us about that touchdown.
I'm just really happy. We put that play in a week, and the coach would tell me, hey, Marco, if I get a shot, you're going to catch it. Like, coach, I'm going to catch it. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. And when we called, he said, okay, I'm going to get a shot, and I took it.
This team, offensively, you seem to be doing anything you wanted to do tonight.
Yeah, like as I told you before, this team, under pressure, it's a pretty good team. We relaxed a little bit in the second half of the season, but I mean, when we want to win, when we needed to win, when needed pressure on us, we just ball.
And what does this championship mean to you?
It means everything. It means everything. Last two years, I did back-to-back in college. I came here my first year. It's a world championship. I'm going to have a ring. I'm dreaming with that ring. So I'm really excited. That's my dream.
Marco, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Congratulations to Marco Martis. I think we can bring Terry Wilburn in now, actually, as well. Terry, who had a pretty good game on the ground, taking the celebrations. Terry, congratulations.
Thank you.
It must be tough to be a running back in such a pass-oriented attack, but you contributed tonight as well.
Well, once we get our running game going, the passing game is much easier. And we had both of them going tonight. And as you see tonight, once our offense gets going, we can put points on the board.
How important is Jon Kitna to the Barcelona Dragons?
He's real important. Kitna, he's a leader, off the field especially. He's just a leader, and on the field, he keeps everybody poised. At times when we're going through that losing stretch, he was on the field just being poised, and I can't say enough about him. He's something special.
Terry, enjoy your celebrations tonight. Back to you guys upstairs.
Terry Wilburn had an excellent game. Sum up the World League season.
I think this has been the best World League season yet. Certainly the quality of play has been the best, and we've seen a couple of really great quarterbacks in TJ Rubley and Jon Kitna. And after that first win by Barcelona, I went down there to talk to Kitna, and I came back and said, this kid's special, and Barcelona's going to go all the way this year. And for a little while, I thought they weren't going to do it, but they've proven me right in the end. I'm really happy. It's great to be down here and watch the Dragons win.
Congratulations to the champions. So that's it. The World League season has finished, and it's congratulations to Barcelona. But fear not, you American football fans, because guess what? Back on Sunday, August 31st, that's right, the NFL is back. Your American football channel, when Kansas City Chiefs travel to the Denver Broncos, and that'll be on Sky Sports 1 at 9 p.m. And before that, of course, the Budweiser American Bowl from Dublin on Sunday, July 21st. You can see that on Sky Sports 2 at 6 p.m. And all that remains for me to do is to thank Mike for his company over the last 3 months. My thanks to Gia for all the end zone stuff. And of course, my thanks to you for watching. For now, it's congratulations to the Barcelona Dragons. Hey, this city is going to party tonight.